Thanks, Joe. Once again, good evening, everybody. And there's the starting goalie tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. His third start of the year for 28-year-old Bob Essensa. Career-high 33 wins last season. He played in 67 games. 21-year-old rookie Martin Brodeur gets the start for the Devils tonight, his second of the season. He was the Devils' first choice in 1990. The referee tonight is 28-year-old Dave Jackson. The linesmen Ron Finn and Brad Lazarowicz.
Martin Brodeur gets his first home start of the year. He started the game Friday night in Washington. 6-3 winner, played very well.
Jets start their top line of Steen, Solani, and Jamnov. Stefan Quintel across to Newman at his own line. Carries it to center for Winnipeg, off the boards, into the New Jersey zone. Danico across to Scott Stevens. He flips it off the glass, hit the referee. Solani has it for Winnipeg, looking for Jamnov. That was picked up by Riche. Moving in against Quintel. Takes the shot, went for the top corner, and missed the net. Danico trying to backhand it around the glass, but it went over the glass and out of play.
John Paddock behind the Winnipeg Jet bench. A funny kind of road trip to start the season. 3 of the first 4 games the Winnipeg Jets playing this year on the road. You play Washington at home and then go to Dallas, Chicago, now New Jersey, and head back home to Winnipeg. A few days off before their next game against Chicago in Winnipeg next Saturday night.
John Paddock in his third year behind the Jets bench, the 39-year-old coach from Brandon.
Well, you had to get that in.
Yes, it is.
I knew you would.
Ardo Blomsten in his first NHL game paired with Dean Kennedy tonight. Kennedy has the puck, lead pass for Paul Eisebart, the former Devil, and that failed to click. Brodeur around the boards. Wiedelinch in the corner. Eisebart from a bad angle. Brodeur made the save. Shannon back of the point for Kennedy. His one-timer, a weak one. Here's Wiedelinch, poke checked in the slot, and out come the Devils. Claude Lemieux, their leading scorer last season. Zelepukin slides a shot wide. Nichols along the boards, back to Driver at the point. Zelepukin from the corner, trying to move in front. Here's Nichols in the slot, shoots, nice glove save by Essensa, and he has it between his pads.
And what a save by Essensa as Bernie Nichols knocked Wiedelinch down with a high stick, and that created the open ice. Now watch Nichols right here, gives Wiedelinch the stick right in the face, and Wiedelinch stays down. And look at Bernie Nichols. He's wide open, comes to the middle, and there's the save by Essensa. He saw it all the way, got the left hand up to make the save. Watch a snapshot by Nichols and a great save by Bob Essensa. Keep the momentum even early in this game.
Scratches for the Jets tonight. Sergei Boutno with a foot injury is expected to return Saturday, along with Ulanov, Barnes, Erickson, and Kaminsky. And for the Devils, Tommy Elbeline, Jason Smith, Bob Carpenter, and Peter Sidorkovich. Their scratches tonight. 1:11 gone first period. No score between the Devils and the Jets. Face off to the left of Bob Essensa, who just robbed Bernie Nichols. Kennedy checked at the side of the net. Blomsten around for Chris King. He just let it go. The rookie Modry at center for the Devils. He slides it into the Jet zone. Essensa sets it up for Dean Kennedy. Chris King to Ty Domi. Coming off a couple of fights in Chicago. Eagles backhands it into the Devil zone. He was upended by Fetisov. Domi bumped by Modry. And here's Guerin for New Jersey. Hooked from behind by Chris King, but carries on. Seamak into the slot. Mironov was there for Winnipeg, and he plays it to the New Jersey line. Guerin across to Modry. Back to Guerin. He lifts it into the Jet zone. Frederick Olsson, as the Devils make a change, moves it quickly on the left side for Tkachuk. Pass was behind him, and play whistle down on the offside. From Brendan Byrne Arena, this is your Molson Dry telecast.
When others are blowing hot and cold about how beer is made, there is a beer which quietly and consistently delivers on its promise. Nobody delivers great beer taste and no aftertaste like Molson Special Dry. No beer. It just could be the best beer ever brewed. Anytime, anywhere.
See the stars with Red River Co-op and Tempo dealers. With every minimum 30-liter fill at Red River Co-op and participating Tempo dealers, you get a ticket to scratch and win. Every ticket is a guaranteed winner with 2 ways to win. In Box 1, you scratch for a start time photo video, Old Dutch potato chips both, or a free pair of Jets tickets. Box 2 is a jet ticket discount with savings up to $36 off a pair of $24 select seats. So see the stars at Red River Co-op and participating Tempo dealers today.
2:13 gone in the first period. Devils nothing, Jets nothing. Bruce Buchanan along with John Garrett. Glad you can join us for the season opener of the Jets on CKND as they wrap up a 3-game road trip here at the Meadowlands. Danico, the new Iron Man in the NHL. Tempted to backhand it around the glass again, and that's the second time he's put a puck in the seats.
And a good pressure job by Keith Tkachuk on Danico, forcing him to get it up and over the glass. We look at Bernie Nichols wearing that familiar number 9. Tom Chorsky had that last year when Nichols was traded from the Edmonton Oilers, and in training camp, Chorsky gave up his number so Nichols could get back to his familiar number 9.
Nichols robbed by Essensa. Puck in the corner, Randy McKay for New Jersey centers it. Mike Peluso coming off a career-high 15 goals in Ottawa. McKay along the boards. Jets can't clear it. Here's Peluso in the slot. Weak shot, rolled wide. Holik after the line with McKay, centered for Peluso again, and he whacked that one wide. Jets having trouble clearing the puck. Emerson was pulled down by Holik. And Dave Jackson's about to call his first penalty of the hockey game.
And it's a hooking penalty on Bobby Holik from behind. And one of the knocks on Holik, great promise, first-round draft choice of the Hartford Whalers, traded here, is that he gives up. And here he gave up on Nelson Emerson, and a lazy penalty. He stopped skating and just reached out with a stick and takes a hooking penalty. Here it comes here. Now watch Holik. He stops skating. Look at his feet right here. No strides at all. He reaches, a long reach, hooks Emerson down and takes a penalty.
Devils' third most penalized team in the NHL at this young point of the season, averaging 44 minutes in the first 3 games, and the Jets put their power play to work, and it's struggling early, tied for 20th in the NHL. They have Jamnov, Solani, Emerson, Numanen, and Steen. Here's Teemu Selanne cutting in on the left side. Rolled a shot wide of the net. Jamnov knocks it down in the corner. Tried to feed Numanen, and it came all the way back to Bob Essensa.
That quick shot by Selanne didn't miss the net by much. He had Brodeur standing straight up and just fired it wide of the far corner.
Selanne, 24 power play goals last season. Here's Jamnov moving in. His shot. Brodeur the save on the short side. And the rookie goalie hangs on.
The Winnipeg Jets power play has struggled, especially in Chicago. They went 0 for 5 as we look at their record. 3 for 21. And you take a Phil Housley off a power play, and he played so much on that power play last year. It is going to take them time to get adjusted to new people, new talent. But you'd like it to score at least 1 goal a game. With the offensive skills that the Winnipeg Jets have, you would like to get at least 1 power play goal a game.
Face off to the right of Brodeur. 1:24 left in the minor penalty to Bobby Holik. Jamnov wins the draw to Nelson Emerson, playing the left point to Numanen. Jamnov back to Numanen at the point, hopped over his stick and came out. Emerson, the former Blue, drops it to Numanen. Now on the left side for Selanne. He was checked by Driver, now shoots it in wide of the New Jersey net. Steen in front, put it right on the stick of Bernie Nichols, and he sends the puck down the ice. Teppo Numanen to Alexei Jamnov. Jets practice their power play in the morning skate, but so far haven't been able to set up in the Devil zone. Batisa for Tom Chorsky. He was checked by Numanen. Good penalty killing by the Devils. Tkachuk moves it out for Winnipeg. On the right side for Paul Yzerbark. Tkachuk into the corner after it. Gets away from Seaman. To Yzerbark. At the point to Mironov. To Yzerbark. His shot. Brodeur kicks that out. Batisov after it. He was checked. Yzerbark feeds Mironov at the point. Tkachuk Tied up in front by Driver, and that allowed Fetisov to clear at the length of the ice. And the penalty is now over to Bobby Holik. So it's still scoreless in the first period. Olesen on the left side to Borsato. Stevens at the side of his net. Borsato trying to take it away from him. Tkachuk does put it in front, but missed Isobar with the pass. Stefan Richer on the left side for John McLean. He was checked by Olesen. Borsato for Winnipeg rolled it to the New Jersey line. Danico to John McLean. Looking for Corey Millen, who has 3 goals already this season, the former King. Millen is pulled down by Mironov, and now the Jets have drawn a penalty. Jets come up empty on their power play. Will return with the New Jersey man advantage.
Yeah, this is nice. Like the seats. Lots of room, that's good. Whoa, lots of room back there, too. Right, smooth. Real smooth. They must have fixed this road.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Even when it's just barely a road at all.
This is Reimer country. Fast, economical, guaranteed service. Shrinking time and costs to deliver goods across the West, throughout Canada, and the United States, right to your door. Reimer Express, reliable economy, on time or free.
Boris Mironov in the penalty box. A interference penalty on Corey Millen. I thought it might have been holding. Bruce, you thought it might have been hooking. But watch Millen use his speed right there. He gets hooked down by Mironov, and it's called interference by Dave Jackson, and the New Jersey Devils go on the power play.
Zelepukin back to Scott Stevens. He took a look, thought about shooting, and gave it to Lemieux. To Nichols in the corner. Back to Stevens at the point. Niedermeyer, edge of the circle. Stevens to Zelepukin as the Devils move it around with the man advantage. Scott Stevens to Nichols. To Lemieux in the slot. Essence of the save. And the Devils keep it in. Stevens across to Niedermeyer in front. Whacked just wide by Lemieux. Nichols to Lemieux, side of the net. He centers it for Zelepukin. Borsato gets to it and rolls the puck down the ice.
Teppo Numminen with a good job in front of Bob Essence and making sure that the Devils couldn't get their stick on that loose puck.
Lemieux dumps it in. Kennedy after it for Winnipeg. Ran into Zelepukin behind the net, and Nichols has the puck for the Devils. To Claude Lemieux. Sets up behind the Jets' goal. Blomston working on Zelepukin in front. Nichols hangs on to it. Now across for Niedermeyer off the leg of Blomston. And back to the New Jersey blue line. 44 seconds left in the minor penalty to Mironov. Here's a pass to Corey Millen. He was checked by Kennedy. And Blomston dumps it down the ice for the Jets. Here's Modry straight up the ice. He flips it into the Jet zone. Eagles behind the net. High off the glass, strange bounce in front, but it went to Blomston. And he scoops it into Devils territory.
Jets a good job. The Devils with puck control in the Jet zone, but so far they don't have a shot on Bob Essence.
Richer may change that, but he was checked by Jamnok. Numminen to the point. Here's Bruce Driver, his slap shot off a stick, and Numminen sends Jamnok away. Mironov was out of the box and in behind the Devils' defense, but the Jets couldn't get it to him. McLean to Corey Millen. Right in front, backhand shot off the skate of Stefan Quintal. Driver in the corner. To the front of the net, Numminen. Off to Thomas Steen, now to Teemu Selanne, trying to split the defense, and he was upended by Danico. Jamnok following up, Jamnok right in. Steen is shot, scores!
You can't say enough about Teemu Selanne and his toughness. Take the hit to make the play, and Selanne created that play. took the hit from Ken Danico. Zhamnov followed up and then set up Thomas Steen. Watch the hit right here. Good solid hit, and then the stick by Danico. And look at Zhamnov comes in right here, sets up Thomas Steen. Nice little move. And right in front of Martin Brodeur, no chance. Good backhand pass by Zhamnov, and then a smart play. Solani is wide open. They pick him up, but then Thomas Steen sticks his nose in. Goes right by Danico, who had the big hit, and puts it by Brodeur.
That line combined for 8 points in the opener against the Capitals, and they combine again. Thomas Steen's second goal of the season from Zhamnov and Solani, and the Jets are on top 1-0. And the puck is flipped over the boards into the New Jersey bench. We have a winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest. Mary Amos entered a ballot and included a label from Old Dutch tortilla chips. As a result, Mary has won a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. Glad to have Safeway Score and Win back with the Jets on CK&D this season. Jets leading 1-0.
And you could see Alexei Zhamnov asking Teemu whether he was all right. Teemu with the big nod after a big hit from Ken Danico.
They're giving the assists to Zhamnov and Quintal, but you could give an assist to Teemu Solani, like John said, taking a big hit to make the play.
And Quintal just touched that puck after Solani was hit, and it went to Zhamnov, and then Zhamnov set up Steen.
Plus, he gave Steen all that room in front while the Devils were paying attention to Solani parked off the side of the net. Danico a weak pass to Holik. He was knocked down by Chris King. Out comes Scott Stevens to Randy McKay. He ran into Mironov at the Jets line. Frederick Olesen had a goal and an assist in that loss in Chicago a couple of nights ago. King at the point with Mironov. Put it on Danico's stick. Mike Peluso. His pass off the skate of Randy McKay. Danico runs into Mironov. 21-year-old rookie defenseman. Now he's hit by McKay. Scott Stevens for New Jersey. To McKay off the boards into Jets territory. Ardo Blomsten, 28-year-old rookie. His pass off the skate of Chorsky. Now Kennedy whacks it out of the Jet zone. 10:25 left first period. 1-0 Jets on a goal by Thomas Steen. Seamack on the left side for Chorsky. And the Devils are offside on the play.
After that big hit on Teemu Solani, John Paddock came back with the Domi line, and Jacques Lemaire countered with his line with Randy McKay. Nothing happened, although there were some good hits. We look at Tom Chorsky. Gave up his number 9 for Bernie Nichols to wear and took on number 17. And Bobby Carpenter, who was wearing number 49, took on Bernie Nichols, number 19. Although Bobby Carpenter not dressed for tonight's game, a free agent signing of the New Jersey Devils.
Tom Chorsky playing his 200th NHL game tonight. Started his career with Montreal. Chorsky outside the Jets line. He dumps it in for Bill Guerin. Kennedy looking for Tkachuk. Came right in front. Seamack after it. Had a stick lifted by the Jets captain Kennedy. Seamack along the boards. To Guerin. Back for Seamack. That's intercepted by Borsato. He comes out with Emerson. Modry trying to catch him. Emerson, a shot. Good pad save by Brodeur. Rebound. They score. Borsato will get credit. Modry had run into Brodeur, the goaltender. He was down. Jets got the shot on goal, and it's 2-0 Winnipeg.
And it shows going to the net as the Winnipeg Jets didn't give up. Driving to the net. Now watch this play. Fetisov goes over, a nice little touch pass. And watch, everybody crashes the net. Keith Tkachuk makes a great play, knocks Modry into Brodeur, and then Borsato picks it up. Watch Tkachuk go into the net. Right here, he hits Modry. Everybody falls into the goaltender, and Borsato slides it under everybody and into the net.
Great start for the Jets, leading 2-0. As Luciano Borsato alertly got a shot on goal to give them that 2-0 advantage. Nichols through the slot. Yzervart can't clear it. Driver. His slap shot kicked away by Essensa. Claude Lemieux for New Jersey. To Bernie Nichols. Going for the front of the net, left it for Zelepukin. Jets running around a bit. Zelepukin to Niedermeyer. His shot goes wide. Puck on the mesh, dug free by Nichols. Newmanen around for Darren Shannon. He bumps with Claude Lemieux. Vitalich in to help out. And he'll skate it out for the Jets. Long shot handled by Brodeur. Bruce driver to John McLean. Now to Stepan Richer. He's poke checked by Mironov. Drifted a shot wide. Driver at the left point. In the corner to Richer. Stops along the boards for Niedermeyer. He missed a game with a foot injury. Here's McLean for Richer. McLean had it in his skates, and it's cleared by Olesen. Steen out for Teemu Solani. That play was broken up by Scott Stevens. 8:19 left first period. It's 2-0 Jets. They've outshot the Devils 7-2. Corey Millen turning along the boards against Olesen. McLean lifted a shot over top of the goal. To Stevens at the point. Back to McLean in the corner. Hopped over his stick. Mironov, a solid hit on McLean. Takes another hit from Mironov. Jamnov digging for it in the corner. And he brings it out for Winnipeg. For Teemu Solani. Stops at the line. Back to Steen. He was hooked from behind. Solani blobs this shot just wide. Boy, three great puck handlers on this line, and they make things happen for Winnipeg. Tom Chorsky for New Jersey. A late change for them as Chorsky ran into Blomston at center. Stevens. Back to Chorsky. Guerin heads for the net. Drop pass. And a nice recovery by Mike Eagles of the Jets to clear it.
And that drop pass, you could see Seamack shaking his head. It was nowhere near him, and it was easily picked up by the Jets.
Chorsky collides with Blomston at the Jets line. Chris King to Blomston at center. He's had a pretty good first period in his first NHL regular season game. Brodeur to Fetisov. Here's Kennedy at the right point. Quick shot, tipped just wide by Chris King. He's pushed into the boards by Modric. Ty Domi. Left the puck in the corner for Eagles. To Chris King. Off the back of the net. Eagles can't center it. Domi has it again for Winnipeg, and a penalty upcoming to the Devils. Eagles behind the net. Centers it. King shot. Brodeur down to make the save on Chris King as the Jets nearly made it 3-0. We'll be right back.
I'm losing 21-17. Mostly because of this brick wall of a linebacker. Nothing gets past this guy. Nothing. So, last quarter, seconds left. Can't go through, can't go around, gotta go over. Bomb! It was a long bomb! Ah! Touchdown! 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 Boy, I love this game. I really love it.
Caroline Bowles is our next lucky winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest. By including an Old Dutch tortilla chips proof of purchase and entering at Safeway, Caroline has won Sultan Gourmet kitchen appliances.
Good pressure by Domi, Eagles, and King. And right there you see Slava Fetisov hauling down Mike Eagles and taking the penalty. And that's a drawn penalty. Good pressure by that line. The Devils running around, and they had to take a penalty.
Jets' second power play of the first period. They lead it 2-0. Luciano Borsato's second goal of the season, his first of the year, came shorthanded against the Washington Capitals. Jacques Lemaire coaching his 101st NHL game tonight.
First time the Devils have been behind this season. They've led every game so far. We'll see how they play from behind.
Teppo Newmanen, his slap shot off the stick of Claude Lemieux. Nichols sends him away. Newmanen trying to catch up. They're in a foot race. Newmanen stayed with him. Ian Eisebart sandwiched Lemieux on the boards. Isabart with an assist in the first 3 games. Jets want to see him score some goals. Tkachuk stopping in the circle. Nelson Emerson across to Newman. In the corner for Isabart. Nichols to Stevens, and he rolls the puck down the ice. 1:22 left in the minor penalty to Fetisov. Here's Alexei Zhamnov for Winnipeg to Teemu Selanne. On the right side to Zhamnov. Steen heads for the net. Zhamnov, a great puck handler, but he put it between the 2-point men.
Good job by Scott Stevens forcing Zhamnov to pass that puck quickly, and he passed it right through the middle.
Zhamnov again for Winnipeg. He and Selanne both just 23 years old. Frederick Olesen down to 40 seconds in the penalty to Fetisov. Olesen to Selanne. Had trouble controlling it. Now slaps it in from outside the Devils line. Bruce Driver to Niedermeyer. Off the boards and out.
You can practice as much as you want inside the blue line. It's not going to matter if you can't gain the blue line and get control, and that's what the Jets are having problems doing right now.
Olesen's hard pass. Steen let it go, and Driver knocked it back in. Just 12 seconds to go in this Winnipeg power play. They lead 2-0 here in the first. On the right side, Selanne in full flight. Slap shot went for the far corner, and that was off the target. Mironov at his own line. Chris King. Fetisov out of the box, tried to send Millen away. That didn't work. Fetisov slaps it in for New Jersey. Mironov bumped in the corner by Millen. McLean scores!
John McLean, coming back from that serious knee injury last year at the end of the year, really had a strong training camp. And they said he was, look at this hit by Corey Millen that creates the turnover. Millen on Mironov, and then Millen passes out. The quick shot by McLean beats Bob Essensa. And late in a period like that, you like your defenseman just to use the boards and get it out. Mironov tried to carry it out. Millen with the hit to McLean and in the net.
John McLean's first goal of the season has the Devils on the board. They trail by 1 as the puck got caught up in the equipment of Yaroslav Modry right off the faceoff. You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win $500 in MasterCard Travelers checks from the Bank of Montreal. A set of Ryobi Workforce Power Tools. From Sultan, a selection of gourmet kitchen appliances. Or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for 2 to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Bel Air Orange Juice and Edwards Ground Coffee. Score and Win at Safeway. Another reason we're today's better way.
Grandpa, was Mom born old?
Now let me tell you about your mother. I got my first gray hair when she was 5. By 17, the hair was in full retreat. But now, she has you, sweetheart. It's payback time.
With an MTS long-distance savings plan, your kids can be even closer to your parents than you were.
Ask your mom to show you her tattoo.
Folks, don't miss our first intermission tonight. Studio analyst Jordy Douglas will be around, and so will Don Cherry dropping into the studio tonight. We look forward to that. And we'll also have the Canadian Tire out-of-town scoreboard. The last 2 scoring plays, Borsato second from Tkachuk and Emerson at 10:17. Devils get on the board with McLean's first from Millen and Fetisov at 15:47. There's a slap shot by Modry that sails over the glass and into the seats. A sparse crowd here at the Meadowlands, around 9,000, I think.
Chance of it hitting anybody when it goes over the glass are not that good. As you look at John McLean, that's something a coach hates to see. You're in the last 5 minutes of a period, you played pretty well on the road. The shots were 8-2 at the time. Boris Mironov had the puck, and instead of just chipping it out, taking the safe play, tried to carry it. A young rookie mistake, and it ends up in the net.
Teppo Newman in his own zone for the Jets. Darren Shannon Darren Shannon, one of 3 players in the Jets lineup who played all 84 games last year. He, along with Mike Eagles and Teemu Selanne. Newman and kicked it into the corner. Nichols. Had a good first period for the Devils. Zelepukin shot from a bad angle. Loose puck in front. Lemieux's back and scores!
And another youngster, Harris Vitalinch on Claude Lemieux in front. Bob Essensa couldn't handle this long shot, and watch the shot come through. Right here at the screen, and look at Claude Lemieux. Keep that stick free. And Vitalinch doesn't even look at Lemieux. He's looking at the net, and the puck goes in. You always watch the guy in front. You try and grab his stick. Vitalinch ended up turned around, and Lemieux makes a nice spinorama to put it in. Now watch Vitalinch right here. He looks around. Instead of taking Lemieux, he looks back at Bob Essensa, and it ends up in the net.
The Devils are back on even terms. 2 goals in 44 seconds. Claude Lemieux with his 3rd of the year. And it's a brand new hockey game. Stevens' pass goes off the stick of Tkachuk into the Devils bench. 3:16 left in period 1.
Hey, look at Claude Lemieux now being congratulated by his teammates on the bench. He made a nice move, but Vitalinch will learn that when you're watching the guy in front of the net, you just concentrate on him. Grab his stick, knock him down. Don't look around for that puck.
Face-off just inside the Devils line to the left of Martin Brodeur. Nelson Emerson steps out, and Luciano Borsato will take the draw against Seamac, won by number 20 of the Devils. Scott Stevens around for Guerin. Mironov pinching in for Winnipeg. And those 2 quick goals by New Jersey has the fans coming to life here at Brendan Byrne Arena. Mironov throwing his weight around in the first period. Seamac in the slot to Danico. His slap shot just wide. Guerin turns and shoots. The Devils firing from all angles here in the opening period. Emerson nearly sped by Danico. Olsen dumping it in for Winnipeg. Tkachuk went after Danico. Chorsky. His pass intercepted by Nelson Emerson. And he shoots it into New Jersey territory. Scott Stevens to Guerin. Long shot handled by Essensa. Ardo Blomsten, veteran of the Swedish national team. John McLean flipped it into the corner. Richer along the boards for the Devils. He's grabbed by Kennedy, and out comes Selanne with Jamnok. Steen intercepts, takes the shot, now lets it go, and Brodeur made a stick save. Niedermeyer in the corner. McLean along the boards. Steen after it behind the net, centered it for Selanne. Niedermeyer went down. Here's Jamnok for Winnipeg. Nice move by Jamnok, right in, shot. Brodeur the save, and he hangs on at the side of the goal after a couple of nifty moves by Alexei Jamnok.
It looked like Jamnok was running the gauntlet as the New Jersey Devils were swinging their sticks, grabbing at him. Watch this, and there's no penalty called. Blomsten a little pick job there, but watch this. There's a grab. Here's a slash, and Jamnok gets through, gets the shot away, and Brodeur with a good save. Don Paddock's team was in complete control, and then a couple of mental errors in front, and it's all even, and the Jets are coming on, or the New Jersey Devils are coming on late in this period.
Bobby Holik hit along the boards by Chris King. Holik back to Fetisov in his own zone. Goes behind the net. He's watched by Ty Domi, who took in the Ranger game last night against the Washington Capitals. Ty still a real crowd favorite in New York City. Brodeur to Fetisov. Now to Bobby Holik. Has Randy McKay with him. 2-on-3. Fires it in off the corner boards. Numanen for Mike Eagles. He couldn't get anywhere. Modry looking for McKay. Numanen. Missed Domi with a pass. Stepan Quintel to Eagles. Got to center and rolled it into the New Jersey zone with 24 seconds to go in the first period. Jets have outshot the Devils 10-6, but we're tied at 2. Valerie Zelepukin. Puck slides into Essensa, and the Jets goalie takes no chances with Claude Lemieux standing on top of him.
And look at Claude Lemieux trying to goad somebody into something. They did a survey on the most hated players. That was one of Sports Illustrated, I think, or Hockey News. One of those publications did a survey who was the most hated player in the NHL, and Tony Granato and Claude Lemieux were right up there. And one of the reasons why, Claude Lemieux right into Bob Essensa, the shower of snow, and then a punch and sliding back out, trying to draw somebody into a penalty.
Kachuk and Danico draw roughing minors at 19:45 of the first period. So they'll get a quick jump on their teammates to the dressing room.
Claude Lemieux played pretty well last year for Herb Brooks, a coach that obviously didn't like Lemieux as a player or a person. Called him a cancer. Said they'd have to get rid of him. Can you imagine being the general manager trying to trade Claude Lemieux and you have your coach saying that he's no good?
I was just thinking, it's one thing to be most hated by the players in the team, but when you're most hated by your coach, you're not in a very good situation.
4-on-4 hockey, you would think this would favor the Jets, and now the Jets are not going to get their last change in.
Andy Murray, the new Jets assistant, having an animated conversation with Brad Lazarowicz.
The young referee, Dave Jackson, didn't have his hand up, and that's what Andy Murray's saying, well, okay, if you won't let me change, get that hand up and let me know. Most referees, it's about 8 seconds that they give the coaches to make their changes, and then they get the hand up.
Emerson won the faceoff back to Freddie Olesen. Around to Mironov. And he backhands it to center. 5 seconds left in the period. Bernie Nichols takes a look at the clock. And the horn sounds to end the first.
Jets with a good, solid first period, except for about 3 minutes after the 15-minute mark, and it was just mental errors. They're a young team, and they made some young mistakes. They played an enthusiastic period. They outshot the Devils. They carried the play, but you can't afford to make those kind of errors against a good hockey team, and the Devils do have a talented offensive team.
Slight change in our first intermission lineup. Coming right up, Joe Pascucci will be joined by the one and only Don Cherry. Don't miss it. The score after 20 minutes of play, the Jets 2 and the Devils 2.
How did this farmer finally manage to get pigs to fly?
It was easier than I thought.
The one and only Yellow Pages. It all starts here.
I hope they write.
In this era of diminishing expectations, we have 2 words to say to all Canadians. No, demand better. Demand a sporty sedan that feature for feature beats any of the imports. Demand a family car that hasn't forgotten about performance. Demand a full-size car utterly committed to your comfort and driving pleasure. Demand better.
There's nothing wrong with crying, is there? I don't know. What is the deal with men crying these days? Is it in or out? Oh, let's see. 60s was love and sex. No reason to cry. 70s was a sensitive male. Okay to cry. 80s was making money, no crying.
Wing.
And what's the 90s? No money, no sex, nothing to do but cry.
Thursday at 7:30 on CKND.
Want to win? Cash? And cars? Play Cash and Cars, the new instant lottery. Scratch to win up to 20 grand instantly. And with the bonus, collect the letters to spell cars. And win a Chrysler Concorde, Plymouth Laser, or Jeep Cherokee. 20 cars to be won. Cash and Cars. Scratch them before they're gone.
Winnipeg Jets and the New Jersey Devils tied at 2 after 20 minutes of play. And welcome back to our studios. Joining me now, Don Cherry. And Don, you know, I have to say this.
Yes?
The collar looks bigger in person than it does on television.
Well, it looks better, right?
Definitely.
No,
definitely.
that's all I wanted to hear, as long as it looks better.
I'm going to try to do my best Ron McLean.
Yeah, you're good. You'll have to shave, though, like him. You look bigger. I don't know what happens with Ron McLean. We sit down. I'm about 3 inches taller than him. He's the only guy, when he sits down at the thing, that he makes Eric Linders look like a midget. Can't figure him out.
It's the higher chairs that we have to sit on. Tell us why you're in town. Let's get the plug out of the way first.
Well, never mind the plug. We're opening a new restaurant, and that's why I'm here. And we were doing great out there, and it's a great bar. And my manager put on, he's got us on. My manager put Timo Solani sweater out there. You saw the people saw it.
Centerpiece of the bar.
Yeah.
Right behind
that will be changed. Taychuk's going up. See that first goal?
Yeah.
You know why it was caused? Taychuk going through, knocking everybody down. Of all the guys that play in the league, well, there's Cam Neely, there's Tocchet. Taychuk plays more like my old Bruins, can play the game and still get you 25 goals. So I love that Keith Taychuk. And Emerson and Quintel, I think that was a good trade. It's pretty tough to make a trade because they know the guy's not going back, Housley's not going back. But Emerson will get you 25 goals, be good on the point, and Quintel, pretty tough kid. And he's just coming into his own now, so I like him.
All right, tell us, you have some late-breaking news. Possible referee strike, you've got the date?
I don't know if it's late-breaking or not, but I understand by November 15th, if they don't do something, they're gone. And in a way, you can't blame them. You know, there's 51 of them, and they put $250,000 in their pension. Now, listen to this, folks. Gil Stein, you know the guy that was around for 3 months? He's going to get $600,000 this year, next year, and the year after, and $250,000 for life, and they give the referees $250 for their pension. Of course, some of them, that's all they deserve.
Well, the referees deserve more money by the way that you abuse them all the time.
Well, some of them, I tell you, this unsportsmanlike conduct thing's starting to get to me. We talk to guys in baseball, give them heck football, basketball, and we can't talk to hockey referees. All of a sudden, they're gods. So some of them do deserve 10%.
I know when you were flying in today to Winnipeg, you sat beside Lloyd Axworthy. Lloyd says that we're going to get a new arena?
Well, he says, I don't. I hear he tried to get us one before, eh? And what do you do? Build a shopping mall downtown?
We got a shopping mall.
Well, he said he'd like to see one. I think everybody in Winnipeg would like to see one because the team looks pretty good. Can't pronounce their names, but they look pretty good.
And it's Keith Kachuk. Quickly, 30 seconds on
30 seconds?
Dale Hunter.
Dale Hunter, I'll tell you, this guy was crucified. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it next week on Hockey Night in Canada. They might have ruined that franchise. By this time next week, Washington will be 0-6, and they're not going to win without Dale Hunter, and he can't even practice, and I heard it's going to cost them $300,000 with bonuses. That's a big mistake, and they might have ruined the Washington franchise. Remember I said that last year, and they all sent me letters, and I still say that Turgeon could have come back a lot earlier, and it's a funny thing, like I said last week, they beat out Pittsburgh, and then they couldn't beat out Canadians with them. So it was an absolute shame, I'll tell you that.
All right, Don Cherry, thank you very much. Yes, that's it. The Don Cherry's, Regent Lajmodier, the Kildonan Crossing, and Don recommends the salad with Russian dressing. Not French. Coming up next, we'll talk with Jordy Douglas, analyze this first period of play.
Well, with our volume, this could save us $2,500 in the first month alone. That's big news for us.
Express Post not only slashes my courier costs, delivers me the same peace of mind.
I like that.
It's designed to fill that gap. It is right in the middle between mail economy and courier speed.
New Express Post. Faster than mail, cheaper than courier. With call-in confirmation. For your free trial, call 1-800-361-3113.
When you belong to CAA Manitoba, it means we'll be there to help. Not only when you need a boost, but anytime you need a helping hand. We can help you plan your trip. From reservations and holiday packages, to passport photos, to travel health insurance. Let us help. Become a CAA Manitoba member.
For everywhere you go today, go with CAA.
Sitting out here with another grown-up, eating dinner, talking, no kids bothering us. This is the most fun I've had in months.
Yeah, me too. It's too bad we have to trash our exes to have something to talk about, though.
Grace Under Fire. Wednesday at 8:30 on CKND.
Double or nothing?
Easy money.
Okay, she once bought a car because it matched her purse.
My ex was arrested for relieving himself on a police dog.
Grace Under Fire.
The news is hitting the streets. The new 1994 Nissans are here, with 5.8% financing on all of these new 1994 vehicles. And like every Nissan, each is backed by the best full-line warranty in the business. So if it's been a long time since you've seen any good news in the paper, simply look for an ad from Nissan. Nissan, making it easier to get the car you really want.
Promotional considerations provided by LA Gear. Get in gear with the Catapult from LA Gear for the athlete who demands the ultimate, bar none.
Well, he played for the Minnesota North Stars, he played for the Hartford Whalers, and he ended his NHL career with the Winnipeg Jets. And with shots like that, I don't know how he could have ended his career back in 1984-85. Jordy Douglas joining us now here in period number 1 intermission. And Jordy, welcome aboard. Let's talk about that first period. And early on in the first period, the big turnover by the Jets, and Essenza bails them out on the save on Bernie Nichols.
Yeah, that makes it a little nervous on the road. You know, the guys are trying to get themselves going. They haven't had 2 wins here. They've had a win and a loss, or sorry, a tie and a loss. So the first couple minutes, you really want to get involved in the game, and you don't want to be giving up any big shots. And I know they pay Essenza the big money, but that's still a tough situation for him. I mean, Bernie just comes across the ice. It's he just letting it go right where he likes to shoot, and he's going high. And fortunately, I think that Bobby got a chance to see the puck. I mean, had they had a little bit more traffic in there, it would have been a little bit more different.
All right, the Jets' top line opens the scoring in this game, and Solani brings the puck up ice, gets a great hit, and afterwards it seems like everybody's watching Solani down on the ice and forgets about the puck momentarily.
You know, we talked about that, and it's absolutely true. Solani comes flying down the ice. He really creates the opportunity. He's looking for a chance to go through the middle of the ice. They take him out very well, but what ends up happening is everybody starts to look around. Oh, they got Solani now. They stop for a minute. And now watch what happens. Here comes Quintal. He just comes in and says thank you, and we got knocked over to Zamnov. And from there, these guys, you're not going to keep them off the board. You get them inside the little triangle there, and they're going to get a good shot, if not a goal, almost every chance.
All right, and that made the score, of course, 1-0 for the Jets. Jets go up by that 2-0 score on the goal by Luciano Borsato. Gotta love that guy. Personal reasons, but the play really made by Keith Tkachuk, who runs the net.
Yeah, this is pure, very good hockey. I mean, this is ideal. You got a guy going to the net, guy wide with the puck, guy going to the net, and then Tkachuk comes in and just says thank you, clears everybody out of there, and nobody knows where the puck is, and before you know it, it's in the net. And that's just ideal, like Don says. I mean, this guy plays the game like it's supposed to be. He goes up and down, he hurts guys, and hits them all the time, and he's going to get 25 goals.
All right, Jordy Douglas, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again in the second period.
Thank you very much.
All right, coming up next, we'll go to the Canadian Tire out-of-town scoreboard for 4 other games in the NHL tonight. We'll update you on those after this.
Here's 2 more reasons why all trucks are not created equal. Buy a 94 Ford F-150 and get a standard driver's side airbag and rear anti-lock brakes. Plus, get 3.9 financing up to 48 months, but only till October 22nd and only at your Ford and Mercury dealer.
There are some things parents will never hear.
Mom, would it be okay if I went to bed early tonight?
Things that would be
too good to be true.
Would anyone mind if I vacuum the stairs?
Luckily, some things are good and true. Like the McDonald's family-sized pepperoni pizza. Smothered in cheese and pepperoni for only $5.99 or 2 for $10. Every day.
No dessert for me, Mom. I don't deserve it.
Family-sized pepperoni pizza. It's a parent's dream come true.
I'm losing 21-17. Mostly because of this brick wall of a linebacker. Nothing gets past this guy. Nothing. So, last quarter, seconds left. Can't go through, can't go around, gotta go over. Bomb! It was a long bomb! Ah! Touchdown! 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 Boy, I love this game. I really love it.
Fitting regular maintenance into my day is tough. So I go to where it'll be done right at the right price. I go to my GM dealer.
Announcing the GM Goodwrench Surface Plus Lube Oil and Filter offer. Done in 29 minutes, or the next one's free. With the work done by GM trained technicians who use quality GM parts.
I trust my GM dealer to give me the finest quality work at a very competitive price.
There you are, Miss RJ.
Thanks, that was fast.
GM Goodwrench Service Plus means auto service with a plus.
The hottest news about the hottest team on ice. The Jets this week. Saturdays at 6 on CKND.
Welcome back. 4 other games in the National Hockey League tonight. Let's go to the Canadian Tire out-of-town scoreboard. Tell you what is happening right now in those games. We'll start with Buffalo at Philadelphia. 1-1 the score, this one late in the first period. Swoboda for the Sabres. Renberg has the lone goal for Philadelphia. Florida, their home debut, taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and this one scoreless in the first period. A lot of problems in the pregame ceremonies because of a mic that just continually refused to work. Just underway momentarily, Chicago taking on the Dallas Stars, both teams with 1-1-1 records, tied with the Winnipeg Jets in the Central Division. And a little later on this evening, the New York Islanders taking on the Los Angeles Kings. You're up to date on the NHL tonight, courtesy of Canadian Tire. Away from the Brendan Byrne Arena, the Winnipeg Jets, the New Jersey Devils, tied at 2.
One thing's for sure, the new cats move awfully fast. See your dealer now before the fall deals are gone.
The next Magnum, because a great performance deserves a great encore.
Welcome back to the Brendan Byrne Arena, where the Devils and Jets are tied 2-2. After one period of play, the Jets jumped to a 2-0 lead in the first. Thomas Steen second from Jamnoff and Quintel at 8:07. Then at 10:17, it was Borsato second from Kachuk and Emerson. But the Devils answered with 2 goals. 44 seconds apart later in the period, John McLean from Millen and Fetisov at 15:47, and then at 16:31, Lemieux's third of the year from Zelapukin and Nichols. The Jets out shooting the Devils 10-6 in the first period. Don Cherry joining us, and we thank him for that in our first intermission. And guess what? Grapes thinks the officials are going on strike, John.
I don't know. There's going to have to be a lot of compromise on both sides. They're so far apart. But I hope they get it done. I hope the league doesn't think that they can just go and replace these officials who are well-trained and well-schooled. They won't be able to.
The second period is underway. Puck sliding into the Devil zone. Bruce Driver back to collect it with Solani after him. Niedermeyer
The driver, the team's 5-on-5 to start this second period. Teemu Selanne. Little extra skating room for the likes of Selanne and Jamnov. Driver to John McLean. Pinned on the boards by Stefan Quintal. Teppo Numminen to Alexei Jamnov. Into the Devil zone. Drops it to Selanne. Slap shot, a rolling puck. And he fired way wide. Numminen into the corner for Jamnov. It's Niedermeyer for New Jersey to Bruce Driver. Claude Lemieux, who tied it for the Devils in the first. His shot through a screen up high on Essensa, and he holds on.
Had that not been a rolling puck, I think we would have seen a goal from Teemu Selanne. A rolling puck, and he fired it high and wide. Claude Lemieux with a good wrist shot, used the screen, and Bob Essensa had some problems with that one. It hit him in the arm and then dropped down into his blocker. They look at Claude Lemieux, and Jacques Lemaire knows Lemieux's act, and I think that will help Lemieux's play over the course of an 84-game season. Lemaire knows how to handle Lemieux. He's done it before, and Stéphane Richet's seen their act, and I think he'll be able to handle them a little better than Herbie Brooks did.
Freddie Olofsson at the side of the Jets net. Mironov drops it to Olofsson. On the right side to Paul Yzerberg. Bumped in the corner and knocked down by Fetisov. Zelepukin for the Devils. Trying to split the defense, can't do so. Olofsson can't get his stick free, but Thomas Steen is back for the puck. Tkachuk and Danico getting set to step back on. Here's Yzerberg cutting into the backhand, and it's swept away by Modry. Back at the side of the goal, Brodeur to Zelepukin. He's dumped by Steen to Yzerberg. Mironov in from the point. Here's Olofsson across for Mironov. And play is called with Modry or Zelepukin down in the corner.
And this was a casual contact. Zelepukin with his head down, and he hit Thomas Steen. Steen hit him. But it wasn't a dirty hit. It was one of those where Zelepukin had his head down. He's watching the puck. Now watch right here. You can see Thomas Steen. Zelepukin's coming in to get the puck. Steen is there. Now look at Steen right here. Gets the leg out. And watch Zelepukin go down. No penalty called by Dave Jackson.
And now he'll get some assistance from Fetisov and Seamak. Zelepukin off to a great start, the 25-year-old forward, leading the Devils in scoring with 3 goals and 2 assists in the first 3 games.
It looks like he's going to be all right, as when there's any knee damage, they don't let the players skate off by themselves. Zelepukin going to the bench.
He had a career-high 23 goals and 64 points for the Devils last season. And I think you're right, John. Looks like he'll be okay.
And he's staying on the bench. You can see him flexing that leg. It looks like it was above the knee, more of a Charlie horse. And a good scoring chance for the Winnipeg Jets, created by that hit from Thomas Steen on Zelepukin.
Jets have a line of Emerson, Borsato, and Tkachuk on the ice. Face off to the right of Brodeur. And Danico playing his 315th consecutive game, and the reason he's the NHL Ironman is that Steve Larmer continues to sit out in Chicago, ending his streak. Emerson. A weak shot off the blocker of Brodeur. Emerson again centers it. Tkachuk knocked it wide. Tkachuk went to the net in the first period, creating a goal. Now he's trying to do it again. Danico just did clear it. Kennedy knocks it back to Blomston. Emerson chips it into the Devil zone. Scott Stevens to Alexander Seamak. His pass off Domi. Here's Danico following up. His pass off the skate of Chorsky. Puck into the corner. Kennedy giving chase with Seamak. Now the puck in the Devil zone. Nearly 3 minutes gone, second period, in a 2-2 tie. Jets had a 2-0 lead in the first. Niedermeyer. Good move around Chris King. Peluso dropped it to Niedermeyer. Back for Peluso, but Numminen was there. Domi chipped it past Niedermeyer, looking for Eagles, but he was held up by Peluso. Quintel slapping it in. Bounced off the referee, Dave Jackson. Driver is hit by Eagles. Domi hit his man, Randy McKay. Holik failed to pick it up for New Jersey. Newman back to touch it, and it's icing against the Devils from Brendan Byrne Arena. Your Molson Dry telecast.
You didn't feel compromised by having a family. And we promise you won't feel compromised by our family sedan. Leap year from Honda.
This is the factory of a leading North American tire maker. They make excellent tires with the kind of traction and mileage life you need. In fact, they're so good, we chose them to make MotoMaster tires for Canadian Tire. So why don't we identify them? Maybe they're concerned that if you knew they also make MotoMaster tires, which come with a nationwide road hazard warranty at no additional charge and a great Canadian Tire price, everybody will buy MotoMaster tires. Maybe they're right. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Well, the Jets will fly home tomorrow. Their next action at Winnipeg Arena Saturday night, a Central Division matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks. Jets had a big crowd for their home opener against the Capitals, and they're expecting another one Saturday night when the Hawks come to town. Call 780-SEAT if you'd like to see the Jets and Hawks on Saturday night.
Jets and Hawks had a tough battle during the exhibition series.
Mironov at the left point. His shot steered to the corner by Brodeur. Driver out to center. Freddie Olesen for Winnipeg to Thomas Steen. On the right side for Solani. That play broken up by Driver. Richer to Corey Millen. Rink-wide pass for John McLean. He couldn't handle it. Richer behind the goal. Nice move on Jamnov. Richer, a two-time 50-goal scorer in the NHL. Olesen for Solani. He can't move it out. Richer to Millen. And Solani pokes it out for the Jets. Driver at center. Backing up as he saw Jamnov coming. Here's Corey Millen. Richer on the left side, but he was offside by a few feet.
We've been talking about Claude Lemieux, and what a devil of a trade that was. Claude Lemieux, 101 goals in the 3 years, in his last 3 years here in New Jersey, and Sylvain Turgeon's been hurt, but that was 3 years ago, and he has a grand total of 39 goals in those 3 years, and Claude Lemieux scoring every other game, and Sylvain Turgeon has not had much luck. Once every 4 or 5 games, and this year Sylvain Turgeon started out in training camp with the American Hockey League team for the Ottawa Senators.
So while Herb Brooks may not agree, it's been a pretty good trade for the Devils.
You get those guys, your leading scorer. How could it be a bad trade? Claude Lemieux last year, 81 points for the Devils and their leading scorer.
Blomston bumping with Lemieux. Essences setting it up at the side of the net for Dean Kennedy, the 9th captain in the Jets NHL history. Fetisov banked it off the boards. Here's Blomston, and Shannon was just offside for Winnipeg with 4:42 gone in the second period. What's with all the scouts here tonight, John?
Early in the season, there's a lot of teams that realize they have some deficiency. Jim Nill, Murray Oliver, Carol Vadnais, and look at them all shaking their heads right now.
Murray's saying, put that cigar out, will you, Carol?
There's Claude LaRose looking on. Go right down the list, and there has to be 8 or 9 teams represented here tonight. And there's Ed Willis. He's not one of the scouts. Tim Campbell alongside Ed. Winnipeg reporters following the Jets.
Now, this is a good area of the NHL to watch hockey. You can go to Madison Square Garden, go to the Nassau County Coliseum, or down to Washington, whatever you like.
Philadelphia is a drive away.
Back in the Jet zone, Quintel. Miss Seamack with a check. Stevens at the left point. Puck goes to the corner. Numanen off the boards for Tkachuk. And the puck comes out. Emerson for Borsato. He poked it past Danico. Stevens there defensively for New Jersey. Alexander Seamack. Pass on the left side for Bill Guerin. Quintel has him lined up, and a good check by Quintel.
We talked about the big hitting of Stefan Quintel, and there was an example on Gear, and just the physical strength of Stefan Quintel. Good, solid, clean hit.
Newman and Miskachuk with a pass. Play a little more cautious in the second period. Still tied at 2. Eagles and Stevens got their sticks up. Devils making a change. Quintel stopping behind his net. Long lead pass to Ty Domi. Newman in at his own line. Chris King backhands it in. And the puck was touched by a high stick. 2-2 in New Jersey.
When others are blowing hot and cold about how beer is made, there is a beer which quietly and consistently delivers on its promise. Nobody delivers great beer taste and no aftertaste like Molson Special Dry. No beer. It just could be the best beer ever brewed, anytime, anywhere.
This is Reimer country. Fast, economical, guaranteed service. Shrinking time and costs to deliver goods across the West, throughout Canada and the United States, right to your door. Reimer Express. Reliable economy. On time or free.
Well, our next game here on CKND occurs Friday, October 29th, when Wayne Gretzky and the Stanley Cup finalist Los Angeles Kings come to Winnipeg.
Jets coming off a 4-game road trip before they play the Kings. 2 games in Florida before they head back to play Wayne Gretzky and the Kings.
That'll be a 7:30 start on the 29th, Halloween weekend in Winnipeg. Battle for the puck along the boards. Mike Eagles. He collides with Randy McKay. Olesen to King. Couldn't chip it out. Niedermeyer into the slot. Mironov was there for Winnipeg to Mike Eagles. And he shoots it in to the Devils' zone. Boy, when these two lines are on the ice, these guys have to keep their heads up. A lot of banging going on. Peluso's pass off the skate of Domi. Olesen. Bumped by McKay behind the net. Holik also forechecking for New Jersey. He's working on Olesen behind the net. Ty Domi carries it out for the Jets. Ty telling me he got married in the offseason. Hasn't settled him down on the ice too much so far. Kennedy took a shot wide. Solani across to Dean Kennedy. His shot just wide of the net. Another fight for the puck along the boards. Been a lot of that in the second period. Tom Chorsky dumps it out for New Jersey. Blomston off the boards to Solani. He's with Steen and Jamnoff. Drop pass to Jamnoff to Solani, and he missed the pass. After a great setup by Jamnoff. Solani lost it to Seamak. Blomston left point. Puck comes around the boards. Jamnoff left it for Kennedy. Steen in the corner for Winnipeg. To Solani. Jamnoff trying to find some open space. Solani showing his strength, but he lost the puck to Seamak. On the left side to Tom Chorsky. He lets it go, and the Devils will make a change.
And you wonder whether Jamnoff got too cute. A good position to shoot, and he had to fire an aerial pass to Solani, and it went over his stick.
11:48 left second period in a 2-2 tie. Kennedy out to Solani at center. He was hit by John McLean, and Richer pokes it in for the Devils. Essence out to play it. Around to Darren Shannon. His pass was too high for Vitalinch, and it's Fetisov for New Jersey. Ahead to Stefan Richer. McLean goes for the net. Pass across, Quintel there for Winnipeg. Shannon out for Yzerberg at center. He left the puck for Vitalinch. His shot off Fetisov wide. Centered it, went off a skate right through the crease. John McLean. Quintel went to his knees to knock that down at center. Fetisov off the boards. Vidalinch. Here's Millen inside the line. His pass at Vidalinch. Quintel to Eisebart. Back to Quintel. In front, Shannon shot. And he batted that wide of the net. Vidalinch had a good collision with Millen along the boards. Modry to Millen at center. He flips it in. And once again, Jacques Lemaire makes a change. Olesen off the boards to center.
Talked about the tight checking this period. Here we are at the 10-minute mark, and the shots on goal are 2-2.
Nelson Emerson will try and change that. He's with Tkachuk and Borsato, 3-on-2. Tkachuk slap shot deflected wide. Scott Stevens off Lemieux's skate. Emerson picks it up. Goes busting into that New Jersey zone. Can't get around Danico. Borsato after it. He went down as Nichols on top of him. And a stoppage in play with 9:58 left in period 2.
I want the truth, not a song and dance. I want better, not more expensive. I want a car I can afford and like. Hey, I just want my money's worth. Okay, actually, I want more than my money's worth.
Mark Hughes, Reform candidate, Winnipeg South.
Young people are asking the question today, where are the real jobs for the future going to come from? 85% of all new jobs in Canada are being created by small business. The role of government, then, should be to remove the roadblocks that prevent small business from succeeding and producing those new job opportunities. It's not just time for a change. It's time for reform.
Vote Mark Hughes.
9 different countries represented on these two teams, and there's some Finnish fans. Are they fans of Teemu Selanne or maybe Arto Blomsten tonight? And now that the Soviet Union is split up, there's a couple of more countries in that. In Czechoslovakia, there's Slovaks and Czechs.
Thank you for that geography lesson.
Yes. I'm going to have to bring my atlas to every game.
Scott Stevens at his own line and a 2-2 tie. Bobby Holik, quick wrist shot handled by Bob Essenson. 9:43 remaining second period. Steen and Borsato gave the Jets a 2-0 lead in the first. McLean and Lemieux came back with goals 44 seconds apart to tie it.
Bobby Holik let that shot go. Peter Stastny went to play with Slovakia, and they have qualified for the Olympics. Here's Holik's shot. He's playing with Randy McKay and Mike Peluso. And so the offense on this line better come from number 16 because the two wingers aren't going to get many goals. So Holik let that shot go, and Essensa handled it easily.
Face off to the left of the Jets goalie. Mike Eagles taking the draw against Holik. Olesen dumped in the corner. Holik fired it back between the 2-point men. Scott Stevens, 29-year-old captain for Holik. Peluso into McKay. But the winger offside. Ty Domi involved
with Holik, and then Scott Stevens came over along with Mike Peluso and Ken Danico have Ty Domi surrounded. Randy McKay looks on. Scott Stevens had a strong game in Washington where he had 4 points, and the Washington Capitals were running around. Stevens had a couple of fights in that one and was a dominant force. You look at that Washington Capitals team and the way they played last night. They played as the New York Rangers. A lot of the scouts we were talking to said the Capitals looked awful. They were outshot 48-19, and even with Dale Hunter coming back, it's a long time before he does come back. The Capitals in this division might be out of it.
Blomsten back for the puck. He dumps it out to center. Niedermeyer for Richer. Selanne, Steen, and Jamnov up front for Winnipeg. Trying to break this 2-2 deadlock. Selanne checked by Driver at the Devils line. Now has some words for Corey Millen.
Now, you don't mind when Ken Danico steps up and hits Teemu Selanne, but you don't like it when a guy like Corey Millen takes liberties with Selanne. And that's why the Jets came over and had words with Millen. And Millen has really bulked up. Last year in Los Angeles, when he played for the Kings, he weighed in at 163. He's only 5'7". This year with the New Jersey Devils, he's bulked up to about 183, and he really looks good and is playing well.
You mentioned Selanne had 3 goals against the Devils last season and his 6th career hat trick against the Capitals in the Jets' home opener. '79 goals in just over a year in the NHL, not too bad. NHL rookie record, he set 6 of them last season in winning the Calder Trophy. McLean shooting it in for New Jersey. Quintel banks it off the boards to number 13 of the Jets. He's roughed up by McLean. Steen to Jamnov. Working against Niedermeyer. Penalty coming up to the Devils. Jamnov still controlling it in the corner. Shot off the skate of Brodeur, and now the whistle from Dave Jackson, and the Devils will be shorthanded for the 3rd time in the hockey game.
And a slashing penalty coming up to the Devils. And it's Corey Millen. I thought that they might get a penalty on Teemu Selanne as they tackled him coming down the ice, but it was Millen away from the play taking a slashing penalty.
So the Jets will put their power play to work with Yzerbark, Tkachuk, and Shannon. Emerson and Freddie Olesen will play the points as their most potent line just finished up a shift.
And their power play tonight has really had problems setting up in the New Jersey zone. And here's a situation where you can really... Now watch right there is the slash on Jamnov. Millen, two-hander in the arms, and he takes a slashing penalty. Here's where you need to win the faceoff so you have a chance to try and set it up right away. You don't have to go back and then try and gain the zone. And it's Keith Tkachuk taking the draw against Bernie Nichols. Nichols points out some debris on the ice to Ron Finn.
Jets on the power play. Freddie Olesen at the left point. To Darren Shannon along the boards. He had 12 power play goals for the Jets last season. Tkachuk behind the net. To Emerson. Olesen, one-timer. Brodeur got a piece of it. And the puck goes flying into the stands.
And nice little pass there. We saw the good hands of Nelson Emerson. The pass to Olesen. A feather soft, flat pass. And it was easy for Olesen to step into it. And you can see Claude Lemieux has some words with Martin Brodeur. Brodeur saw that shot all the way, no screen. He was able to get it up and over the glass.
Good look at the face-off between Tkachuk and Bernie Nichols. Tkachuk, an assistant captain for the Jets, along with Chris King. Puck deep in Jets territory. Freddie Olesen. To Keith Tkachuk. Tripped up by Danico. Shannon waiting for the puck in the corner. Lemieux goes down. Olesen at the point. To Nelson Emerson. Yzerbark to Emerson. To Olesen. Slap shot. Blocked by Bernie Nichols. Olesen again. To Darren Shannon. Back to Olesen. Lets the shot go. And a nice glove save by Martin Brodeur.
And Keith Tkachuk says that he was cross-checked in front, and now Scott Stevens and Tkachuk are pushing. Bernie Nichols does a good job forcing the shot. Now watch the shot. Nichols goes down, takes away the bottom of the ice. Brodeur is looking high, reaches over with his left hand, makes the save. And you can see Tkachuk getting flattened by Danico. That's why Tkachuk was complaining.
Jets want Frederick Olesen to shoot the puck. One of the harder drives in the NHL. In fact, 11 of his 16 goals last season came with the man advantage. Now the Jets have Steen, Selanne, and Jamnov on the ice.
And this power play has looked a lot better. The Jets moving it around well.
Emerson to Newman. Jamnov along the boards. To Steen in the corner. Back for Jamnov. Driver to the corner for Modry. Good hustle by Emerson. Behind the goal to Thomas Steen. 49 seconds left in the penalty to Corey Millen. Jets looking for the lead. Emerson to Newman. Back to Emerson. Watched closely by Seamak. Jamnoff along the board. Steen at the side of the net. Steen to Numminen. Across to Emerson. The slap shot kicked out by Brodeur. And McLean controls it for the Devils.
Chance for a rebound, but Brodeur kicked it by the Jets, who were in close.
20 seconds to go in this Winnipeg power play. Their most effective of the hockey game. Emerson with a burst of speed. To Solani in the corner. Nice move around Modry. Solani, a shot off Brodeur. There's another shot by Numminen. King is high stick. And Modry got it to the point. Numminen in the slot. Jamnoff shoots. Brodeur, a great save on Alexei Jamnoff. Good pressure here by the Jets. Domi shoots. Another save by Brodeur, and he holds on as the rookie is shining. Now Domi after Lemieux.
And Lemieux was after Jamnoff. And we talked about this in the first period. How Claude Lemieux can get under your skin. Martin Brodeur really playing well. This power play by the Jets has looked very good. Here's the first save. Now watch Brodeur kicks it aside, and that's missed by Chris King. He just fired that one wide. Now here's the second one. There's Brodeur again. Stands up, square, gets his feet set, made the save, went down, and again right back up to his feet. And here's Ty Domi with the shot. Brodeur covers it up.
Domi drawing a penalty for coming to the aid of Alexei Jamnoff.
Jets had 5 shots on that power play and controlled almost for the entire 2 minutes in the New Jersey zone.
Number 20, Domi. Time is
13:40, the time of the penalty to Ty Domi.
And that was an unsportsmanlike penalty, and you wonder about that one because Lemieux went after Jamnoff, but it was out of the play, away from the play, and Dave Jackson didn't see it, so Domi went over, had words with Lemieux, and takes the unsportsmanlike penalty.
So now the Devils will have a chance against John Paddock's Jets. Still 2-2, no goals so far in the second period. Eagles a shot off the faceoff, and Brodeur had to be alert on that one. Fetisov for the Devils. Slides it in wide of the net. Fetisov, 35-year-old veteran, has the puck at the point. To Niedermeyer. His shot off the target. Fetisov to Holik. Side of the net. John McLean trying to stuff it in. Essensa was down and got his pad on the puck as Eagles throws McLean down. And they're beginning to rough it up a little in the second period.
A little more emotion getting involved here. Eagles with the hit after McLean had the chance on Bob Essensa. That's only the 10th shot on goal for the New Jersey Devils. And we've played almost 35 minutes. Here's the play. Now watch, it's set up Holik to McLean. He's got lots of time, tries to wrap around, but look at Bob Essensa. Takes away the bottom of the ice, and in comes Quintel. He was the first one to arrive, and then Mike Eagles piled on John McLean.
Quintel and Numminen logging a lot of ice time for the Jets on defense. In fact, talking to the coaching staff this morning, they said Numminen probably played 35 or 40 minutes in Chicago. Holik won the draw back to Fetisov. Richer along the boards. Then Niedermeyer, his slap shot wide of the net. Puck behind the goal. Quintel around for Eagles, but Holik tracks it down for New Jersey. Holik moving up. His shot deflected wide of the net by Numminen. Holik chasing it along the boards again behind the net. Numminen there for Winnipeg. Chipped the puck past Richer, who lost his helmet. Good work by Teppo Numminen as he shoots it out and right into the penalty box, occupied by Ty Domi.
Domi throws the puck back on the ice. Anytime you're playing on the road, you want to keep the shots against down. You want to play a good defensive system, and the Jets have done that. As I mentioned, only 10 shots against, and here we are, 5:19 left in the second period. You talked about the ice time. Teppo Numminen, 40 minutes a game the last couple of games. Stefan Quintel has been in the 30 to 35 minute range. in great shape, playing very well.
Well, one advantage of playing 3 games in 4 nights is now the Jets don't play till Saturday against Chicago, so some quality practice time coming up for John Paddock's Jets. Scott Stevens to Claude Lemieux. 40 seconds left in the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to Ty Domi, who already has 33 minutes on the season. Mike Eagles sliding the puck down the ice. Brodeur popped it up to Shannon behind the net. Here's Blomston, the shot. And that was blocked by Nichols in front. Bernie Nichols has thrown his body in front of a couple of shots. Here in this period, Lemieux to Zelepiuk shoots. And Essence got a piece of it. Here's Stevens' shot. Puck goes high off the stick of Kennedy, and it's grabbed by Bob Essenson. As Kennedy mixes it up with Zelepiuk. Now Stevens pushing with Shannon, and Nichols having words with Eagles. You're right. The emotions are a little higher here in the second.
Bernie Nichols has blocked a number of shots. Valerie Zelepiuk, you remember, was hurt on a hit from Thomas Steen. Here's a chance. Blomston comes in. Now he gets trapped. You're killing a penalty. You don't pinch in that far as a defenseman. Now here's the chance. Over to Zelepiuk and a rolling puck again. And he snaps it high and wide. And here's Scott Stevens. He comes in. It's deflected by Mike Eagles and an easy save by Bob Essensa. But the chance by Zelepiuk was created when Blomston pinched in. Took his original shot, had time to get back, and decided, well, I'll follow it in. A chance that almost ended up in his net.
Just 11 seconds left in the penalty to Domi. Face off to the right of Essensa. Corsato won the draw to Quintel. He wraps it around the boards and down the ice. And the Devils will be 0 for 2 with the man advantage. Jets 0 for 3 on the night. And it's still tied at 2 with 4:18 remaining in the second period. Bill Guerin going wide on Teppo Numminen, shot from a bad angle. And that's gloved by Bob Essensa. You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win Macassa's Elegant Maxima Dinnerware from the Belterre pattern, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, the Best of Tefal featuring the new Cool Wall Deep Fryer, or the Piggyback from Samsonite. Our strengths are legendary. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for 2 to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Purex bathroom tissue and Sunlight laundry detergent. Score and Win at Safeway, another reason we're today's better way.
The news is hitting the streets. The new 1994 Nissans are here, with 5.8% financing on all of these new 1994 vehicles. And like every Nissan, each is backed by the best full-line warranty in the business. So if it's been a long time since you've seen any good news in the paper, simply look for an ad from Nissan. Nissan, making it easier to get the car you really want.
Coming up in our second intermission tonight, we'll hear from studio analyst Jordy Douglas again. We'll have some Dirt Devil trivia for you, the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard, and you know what, John? Rumor has it that Grapes may drop in again.
Any chance to see another hockey game? You know Don Cherry's going to be there, and he's there in our studio watching this one.
Pretty good hockey game. Jets and Devils tied at 2 with 4:10 left. In the second period, Jets have outshot New Jersey 20-12. This new rule coming into effect that if the wingers move into the circle before the puck is dropped, the centerman automatically waved out, and now Tkachuk, who moved, is in to take the faceoff. Holik takes a lot of draws for the Devils. Danico from the point. His shot didn't get through the traffic. Essensa for Tkachuk couldn't clear it. Holik off the boards. Lets the shot go off the blocker of Essensa. Nelson Emerson. Ahead for Tkachuk. Stevens left point. His slap shot off the skate of Mironov. And referee Jackson rules that the puck was gloved ahead, and the faceoff will come outside the Jet zone.
Mike Peluso passed that one back to Scott Stevens with his hand. As we look at Jacques Lemaire, a different attitude around this New Jersey Devil team with Lemaire in complete control. And that's one thing, although you wonder how much control when you have Lou Lamoriello as a general manager, but it's said that Jacques Lemaire is in complete control.
Pretty good winning tradition behind the bench for New Jersey. Jacques Lemaire Won 8 Stanley Cups as a player in Montreal. Larry Robinson, his assistant. Here's Emerson. Dropped it for Borsato in the slot. Tkachuk scores! Nice play by the Jets, and they lead at 3-2.
And all line mates like that when all three guys are involved. Emerson, Borsato, and Tkachuk all involved. A great rush on a 3-on-3. They drive the defense back. Crisscross. Emerson, watch this little drop pass. He drives the defense back. Right here, Scott Stephen backs in. Tkachuk's there. Look at where the defense ends up. Danico tries to block the shot. Tkachuk with a snapper up and over Martin Brodeur. Look at the defense. Now Danico is inside the hash marks. 3-on-3. And Tkachuk from just outside the hash marks beating Martin Brodeur.
Well, Keith Tkachuk, a favorite of Don Cherry, and I bet he'll be putting a picture of him up in his new Winnipeg restaurant. Especially after a goal like that. Jets back in the lead, 3-2. Corey Millen backhands it off the boards to center. Quintel shoots it in for Winnipeg. Big goal for the Jets late in the second period. Corey Millen for New Jersey. Stick handles across the line for John McLean. Newman in for Steen. Here's McLean from the corner for New Jersey in front for Richer. And a good defensive play by Quintel. Solani racing after the puck. And it's golfed out of play by Slava Fetisov. Our next lucky winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest is Mr. Ron Cripps of Winnipeg. Ron entered Score and Win at Safeway along with a proof of purchase from Campbell's Tomato Soup. Congratulations, you've won a set of Ryobi Workforce Power Tools in the Safeway Score and Win contest. Keith Tkachuk's second goal of the season from Borsato and Emerson.
You look at the Winnipeg Jets, the Solani line, and now the Borsato and Tkachuk and Emerson line. They look pretty good offensively, and then you can come back with the Domi King Eagles line as a checking line, and Eisenbart's line, 4 pretty good forward lines.
I've been impressed by Nelson Emerson tonight. Played for the puck in the corner. Blomston knocked off stride by Zelepukin. Bernie Nichols waiting to Claude Lemieux in the slot. Back to Nichols in the corner to Lemieux. Weak shot into Essensa, and he kicks it to Paul Eisebart. Vito Lynch for Winnipeg. Backhands it into the Devil zone. Driver to Claude Lemieux. Cut off by Blomston at center. Zelepukin follows up for New Jersey to the backhand against Kennedy. Zelepukin for Niedermeyer. Driver's pass intercepted. And here's Kennedy to Eisebart. Shannon can't catch him. Eisebart one-on-one against Niedermeyer, but he poked it off his stick. 2:10 left second period. 3-2 Winnipeg. Driver to center. Long shot off the stick of Mironov. Chorsky and he bump in the corner. Guerin in to help out. Eagles back deep for Winnipeg. Chorsky to Guerin. Eagle stays with him, pushes him off the puck. Chorsky after it. Quick shot, steered away by Essensa. Bernie Nichols from the corner. Here's Ty Domi, takes it behind his own net for Winnipeg. Fans booing Ty Domi. Scott Stevens across to Danico. Domi forechecking for the Jets. Here's C-Mac for New Jersey. Has Guerin with him. C-Mac trying to cut around Mironov. Backhand shot. And Guerin nearly pounced on the rebound. And then it's poked out by Stefan Quintel. Quintel at the side of the net for Domi. He goes to the ice with Danico. C-Mac around the boards. Newman waiting at the left point. Domi on the end of a long shift. Danico hit him, trying to clear it around the glass. Here's Tkachuk for Winnipeg. He's put them in front here in the second period. Tkachuk away from Danico. Domi behind the net. Back to Tkachuk. Kind of fanned on his pass, and C-Mac for the Devils. Picked off. Here's Emerson right in. Fired it wide. What a chance for Nelson Emerson. Here's Tkachuk all alone in front, but Emerson couldn't get him the pass, and he goes to the bench, shaking his head. Quintel back to touch it.
He's not the only one shaking his head. Jacques Lemaire was shaking his head at the bench. Pass by C-Mac in his own zone, right in the slot area. And Nelson Emerson, who had Martin Brodeur back in the crease, just fired that one high and wide. Good shift by Keith Tkachuk again. Played very well for the Winnipeg Jets and didn't skate this morning. Has a minor shoulder problem. We were thinking maybe Jan Kaminsky might make his start tonight as Tkachuk missed the morning skate, but he's out here and playing well tonight.
Tkachuk just 21 years old.
My daughter's favorite player, too, I might add, Bruce. She's got Keith Tkachuk posters up. Has a Keith Tkachuk autograph stick. Keith Tkachuk sweater hanging in her room. Doesn't have any old John Garrett sweaters hanging up.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Face-off to the right of Martin Brodeur. Eagles will take the face-off against John McLean. Exactly 25 seconds to go in the period. Modry checked in the corner by Emerson. Borsato after it. He's had a good game for the Jets tonight. Number 38. McLean to Richer. Has Corey Millen with him. Time running out. Millen slap shot. Off Quintel, and the puck went rocketing into the seats. But as John said earlier, with the crowd on hand tonight, better chance it'll hit an empty seat than it will a fan.
We were talking to some of the people here in our broadcast booth, and they say that really the only time that this crowd gets loud is when the New York Rangers or the Philadelphia Flyers are in town. Even the Islanders, who you'd think would be a natural rival, the fans here don't get as involved. The Rangers and Flyers are in.
Jets coaching staff directing traffic for the face-off to the left of Essensa. Just 3 seconds remaining in the period. Face-off at the edge of the circle. Claude Lemieux matched up against Eagles, who won the draw. And that will do it for the second period. Coming up next, we will have Don Cherry back in the studio for his comments on tonight's game between the Devils and the Jets. Keith Tkachuk scores in the second period. The score after 2, the Jets 3 and the Devils 2.
I'm losing 21-17. Mostly because of this brick wall of a linebacker. Nothing gets past this guy. Nothing. So, last quarter, seconds left. Can't go through, can't go around, gotta go over. Bomb! It was a long bomb! Ah! Touchdown! 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 Boy, I love this game. I really love it.
It's another Giant Eastwood Jeep Eagle exclusive, Manitoba. Right now, the biggest sale we've ever had. Every single automobile and truck on this property available for immediate delivery. And here's the best news. Now, we're talking new and used. No payments till 1994. This is not a deferral. The Giant Eastwood Jeep Eagle will make your payments till 1994 on any new or used car. Why would you go anywhere else? 661-5337.
Well, with our volume, this could save us $2,500 in the first month alone. That's big news for us.
Express Post not only slashes my courier costs, delivers me the same peace of mind. And I like that.
It's designed to fill that gap. It is right in the middle between mail economy and courier speed.
New Express Post. Faster than mail, cheaper than courier. With call-in confirmation. For your free trial, call 1-800-361-3113.
For something different, give us a whirl. The Crystal Casino in the Hotel Fort Garry. For something exciting, come out and play. You'll find a variety of games at the Crystal Casino. For something fun, take a spin. Open 12 noon to 2 a.m. Monday to Saturday, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday. The Crystal Casino. Now that's entertainment.
See the official Canadian unveilings of the hot new 94 cars and trucks at the Winnipeg International Car and Truck Show this Thursday through Sunday at the Convention Center. Don't miss the premiere of the totally redesigned Ford Mustang, the all-new Toyota Supra, or the convertible Nissan 300ZX, plus rare Model A's, classic Corvettes, Packards, even a Viper. See Scott Goodyear's Indianapolis 500 race car and a unique Hummer Jeep. Ladies meet Cole from The Young and the Restless. Tickets at select a seat and Princess Hitting Auto Dealers. The Winnipeg International Car and Truck Show.
Back for another season,
Safeway gives you the chance to win fabulous trips and prizes for the hottest promotion on ice, Score and Win. This season, Safeway will award a prize for every goal the Jets score. For goals scored during CK&E telecast, lucky Safeway shoppers will be awarded one of these great prizes. $500 in MasterCard Traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. A GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven. The Best of Tefal, featuring the new Cool-Wall Deep Fryer. A 45-piece set of Mikasa Maxima dinnerware from the Belterre pattern. A set of Ryobi Workforce power tools. Products from Salton's complete line of gourmet kitchen appliances. Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. Or Samsonite luggage featuring the Piggyback. In addition to all these prizes, there's also 16 trips for two to Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World, available to be won courtesy of Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. To enter, get down to your local Safeway, fill out a ballot, attach a proof of purchase from a participating product, and deposit it in the ballot box. Watch the Jets right here on CK&D, and when Winnipeg scores, you could be the next lucky winner. Score and Win, another reason why we're today's better way.
Keith Tkachuk has the Winnipeg Jets in front of the New Jersey Devils 3-2 after 40 minutes of play at the Brendan Byrne Arena.
Now look at, I mean, folks, be honest. Does that not look like Mario Lemieux's sister? I mean, get in there. Isn't he beautiful? You notice you don't see him with the big... Can we... Well, he does look like his sister.
Well,
probably his sister doesn't have his long hair.
No, I've seen Mario's sister, and she looks a lot better than that. Don
probably
Cherry,
can't score 30 goals.
Well, probably. Don Cherry's agreed to be here in the second intermission because he liked the fact that I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you're better than McLean anyhow.
Thank you. What about Damo?
Tamo? Well, Tamo's all right. I've always said I've liked the kid. He can put the puck in at 76 goals. You got to like the guy.
And he's
but
on
he's going to have
video.
He's on my video. I got him rocking Sock'em 5 and hitting a couple of Leafs and punching Chelios. But he's going to have a tough time this year. I know a coach out there. Every coach, when they play Winnipeg's, look, you don't have to run him. You don't have to, high stick him. But give him a little shot. When he's there, put the hook on him. A little shot here, a little shot there. And that penalty to Domi, that is awful. That's this big thing, like I said, the unsportsmanlike. All he did was say something to who's he said it? Oh, Lemieux. And then he gets thrown off. This is a big thing now, eh? Him and Probert. Out. I mean, it's sickening to watch sometimes. How about the crowd?
What crowd?
Yeah. You see what I mean? All the Europeans and everything over there. Nobody who wants to watch it. I mean, and that's killing the hockey in New Jersey. Give them some old rock and sock, and they come back.
All right, we've got a lot of calls, Don. They want you to say Keith Tkachuk. That's
no. Let's get this right. In Boston, we call him Taychuk. I don't care what he calls himself out here. Mr. Taychuk in Boston. It's like Dagley. No, Daigle.
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 Dig.
Hey, listen, there's an L on the end, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Dagley.
What do you think about that Alexander wearing a nurse's uniform? Are you going to let him take his temperature, or let him take your temperature the next time?
I could say a lot of things here, and we closed the whole television down. No, that's pretty good. He did it for a card company. He was a fire guy, and he was this and that, and I kind of liked the kid that he went out and did it, but I'd like to see him getting dressed in that. There's a few guys in the league that should be wearing dresses, but I don't know about him.
Some of them are playing out there tonight.
Yeah, I tell you, there's no rock'em sock'em much out there tonight. And but I tell you, that Taychuk or Tkachuk, whatever isn't he a beautiful? I tell you, boy, he is one player they should wrap in cotton right now. You're so lucky to have a guy like that on the club.
All right, 20 seconds left. The Jets going to win the Stanley Cup?
Well, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup, but when they get things rolling around, as long as Essen is there, like I said, Emerson looks dynamite in the power play, but when he gets the puck, get somebody in front of the net, the screen. There's no sense in hammering it. Dirty will tell you, hammering the thing if the guy can see it, picking cherries. But I like the team. Be pretty good. Maybe a few more North American guys in there, but pretty good so far.
All right, Don Cherry, thank you very much for joining us again. And for Don Cherry, Walt Tkachuk, Keith Tkachuk.
Taychuk
is his player. All right, coming up next, the Reimer out-of-town NHL scoreboard.
V is for vehicle. V is for valves and pistons. V is for victory over engine sludge, wear, rust, and varnish. V is for viscosity, vitality, and value. V is for new Valvoline SH motor oil, the new standard in motor oil that cuts engine sludge 19%, bearing wear 13%, and cam wear 20% better than regular SG oil. V is for people who know use Valvoline. V is for thank you very much. Available at...
Yeah, this is nice. Like the seats. Lots of room, that's good. Whoa, lots of room back there, too. Ride smooth. Real smooth. They must have fixed this road.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Even when it's just barely a road at all. There's only one thing is cool and refreshing. His new sugar-free Wrigley Spearmint Gum. It's way cooler than that. Nice try. But no, the one thing is cool and refreshing is sugar-free Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Is regular Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Now in cool and refreshing sugar-free.
I'm losing 21-17. Mostly because of this brick wall of a linebacker. Nothing gets past this guy. Nothing. So, last quarter, seconds left. Can't go through, can't go around, gotta go over. Bomb! It was a long bomb! Touchdown! 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 Boy, I love this game. I really love it.
Good evening. Winnipeg police say it's time for a crackdown on biker gangs in this city. That comment follows a weekend shooting involving two gangs fighting for control of the drug trade. Tight budgets mean the Crown Prosecutor's Office is being forced to drop charges in some minor cases in rural courts. And Manitoba is setting up a province-wide breast cancer screening program. We'll have the details of those stories and more on News at 10:30.
In today's business world, it's hard to keep up, even if you have all the right tools. To stay on top of complex financial and accounting issues, you need someone with a specialized education and a commitment to ongoing training. A certified general accountant will give your company the management tools and insights you'll need in the 90s and will help keep your business humming. Certified general accountants, wherever sound financial decisions are made.
To achieve your maximum performance, you need the maximum equipment from the Maximum Store. Athletes wear. This is the Winwell Pro Hockey Locker Bag. Heavy-duty nylon, deep skate, and glove pockets. It carries everything and is now on sale for an amazing $34.88, only at Athletes Wear. 145 Market, Pembina at Grant, 860 St. James, and we're open on Sundays.
The choice is there, Athletes Wear.
I want the truth, not a song and dance. I want better, not more expensive. I want a car I can afford and like. Hey, I just want my money's worth. Okay, actually, I want more than my money's worth.
Trivia brought to you by the Red Hot family of Dirt Devil vacuums by Royal. Do you know who holds the NHL record for the most consecutive 50 or more goal seasons? We'll have the answer right after this.
Sam here is giving me enough good reasons to use my Dirt Devil hand vac, but now he's giving me 5 more. When they turn the house upside down, I turn on my Dirt Devil. Its powerful revolving brush tears into dirt, chews up crumbs, and picks up pet hair. It has an extra long cord, and it's lightweight. So, I'd say my Dirt Devil is the pick of the litter. Right, Sam? Right. Get a Dirt Devil and put the power of an upright in the palm of your hand.
Who holds the NHL record for the most consecutive 50 or more goal seasons? Need a hint?
In his 10-year career with the New York Islanders, he scored 573 goals. On January 24th, 1981, he became the first player since Maurice Richard to score 50 goals in 50 games.
I sort of tried to make a commitment to myself to go out there and get at least 50 goals since I started playing in the league, since I first got 50 goals my first year.
Perhaps Mike Bossy's greatest accomplishment was his string of 50 or more goal seasons. From 1977-78 to 1985-86, Mike Bossy scored at least 50 goals for 9 consecutive seasons, an NHL record. Another Red Hot trivia brought to you by the Red Hot family of Dirt Devil vacuums by Royal.
A promotional consideration has been paid by the following.
Bulova Star. Quartz accuracy in action. Anywhere, anytime. Bulova, wherever fine watches are sold.
3-2 the score for the Jets over the Devils in New Jersey. Let's take a look now at the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard. Buffalo leading Philadelphia 3-1. Howardchuk with a goal in that game. Pittsburgh and Florida scoreless in the second period. The Panthers know how to play defense. And Chicago and Dallas tied at 1, and that is after 1 period of play. That is the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard. And Jordy Douglas, that was kind of a ho-hum second period until Keith Tkachuk got into it.
Yeah, he really took control of the game. He got himself going, and everybody tended to follow along with him. And he's at a point now. The sophomore jinx really doesn't mean a lot. He's just saying, look, I'm going to play. This goal that he gets is very well done. I mean, they have a guy going to the net, drops the puck back. It was Forsado, and he drops the puck. Tkachuk follows right in the hole that he left and vacated, and top shelf. They've been shooting all night up top, and eventually they're going to get a goal, and he did it right there.
All right, Keith Tkachuk has the Jets in front. Third period action with John and Bruce after this.
This is the factory of a leading North American tire maker. They make excellent tires with the kind of traction and mileage life you need. In fact, they're so good, we chose them to make Motomaster tires for Canadian Tire. So why don't we identify them? Maybe they're concerned that if you knew they also make Motomaster tires, which come with a nationwide road hazard warranty at no additional charge and a great Canadian Tire price, everybody will buy Motomaster tires. Maybe they're right. Motomaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
I'm losing 21-17. Mostly because of this brick wall of a linebacker. Nothing gets past this guy. Nothing. So, last quarter, seconds left. Can't go through, can't go around, gotta go over. Bomb! It was a long bomb! Ah! Touchdown! 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 Boy, I love this game. I really love it.
Welcome back to New Jersey in the Brendan Byrne Arena. Jets leading the Devils 3-2 after 40 minutes of play. Just the 1 goal in the second period. Keith Tkachuk, second of the year. From Borsato and Emerson at 16-20. Jets out shooting the Devils 11-10 in period 2. They have a 21-16 advantage after 2 periods of play.
Looking at Larry Robinson, he was a former teammate of mine in a World Championship way back when. I won't say what year. And the one thing the Devils said they lacked was character, and you mentioned it, Bruce. You get character when you get guys like Jacques Lemaire and like Larry Robinson. Really adds something to the finesse and to the just what kind of jam the team has.
Third period underway. Quintel behind his net for Winnipeg. Around for Thomas Steen. He's bumped by John McLean. Jamnot. Hooked by Millen. Here's Newman. Around the boards for Solani. Stevens to John McLean along the left boards. His slap shot handled by Essensa with Stefan Richer parked on the doorstep.
McLean has played well, and you can see him nodding at Richer. Now watch Richer come out from behind the net. Newman can't go after him because he's got to go right in front of his goaltender to get there. So Newman stays away. Essensa makes sure that he controls the rebound. Good shot by McLean through traffic. And a good save, control save by Bob Essensa.
John McLean had 3 consecutive 40-goal seasons before that serious knee injury in the 91-92 season. Right in front, Zelepukin shot. Good save. Essensa, another stop on Bernie Nichols. who followed up. And the Devils came very close to tying it. Right there, Jets iced the puck. Tkachuk in a foot race with Danico, and he beat him to it. Brodeur around for Zelepukin. Quintel slaps it back in for Winnipeg.
That was a big play by Keith Tkachuk just to keep the play going, keep the puck down in the Devils' zone. The Devils have really put some pressure on, and Tkachuk got that icing waved off, and the Jets have time to regroup.
Jets did not have a good third period in Chicago Sunday, outshot 23-6, and I'm sure John Paddock reminded his club of that before they came out for the third here. Scott Stevens, long lead pass to Zelepukin, in against Kennedy to the backhand, stick save by Essenson. Kennedy after the puck in the corner at Yzerbark, came right in front to Lemieux in front, deflected by Seamak. Essenson down. The puck came loose, but the referee Jackson lost sight of it, and a whistle, and a good start for the Devils, and now Jackson has called a penalty on Claude Lemieux.
Claude Lemieux, yes, and he's getting an unsportsmanlike penalty. Jackson was well in the corner. I can't understand why players don't realize that the referee, when he loses sight of the puck, he's going to blow the whistle. And Jackson was in the corner, right where he's standing now. Essence has stacked the pads, made the save. How is Jackson supposed to be able to see the puck? And Lemieux takes the penalty, and the Devils had all that momentum going. They've had 3 great scoring chances here in the first minute and 20 seconds. Now watch this save by Bob Essence on the tip. Right there, stacks the pads, makes the save. Now, look at where Jackson is. He can't see the puck. He blows the whistle. And Lemieux goes over, argues, and takes a penalty.
Well, as you said, John, Jets will welcome this penalty to Lemieux. As the Devils came out flying here in the third. Jets leading 3-2, going on their 4th power play of the evening. Jamnov, Tkachuk, Solani, Numanen, and Mironov.
The Jets' last power play, they had 5 shots on their last power play. Looked very good, moved the puck around well, and Martin Brodeur had to make some big saves. See if they can continue the same pace.
Bruce Driver pokes it to Richer in the corner. He goes around the boards with it. Niedermeyer. McLean flips it back in. Jets trying to get control, just underway with this man advantage. Teppo Numanen to Alexei Zhamnov. Carries it into the Devil zone. Driver into the corner. Solani there with Niedermeyer. Here's Zhamnov. Beats Numanen at the point. Lets the shot go just wide. Jets trying to deflect it. Solani to Tkachuk in the corner. Back to Numanen. Over to Mironov. His shot off the stick of Richer over the glass and into the seats.
And again, the Jets moving the puck around the outside. The pass from Numanen to Mironov was in his skates, so it took him time to tee it up, and that gave the Devils time to get out. You can see some of the few fans that are here going home with a souvenir. Face-off just at the top of the circle.
1:20 left in the penalty to Claude Lemieux. Unsportsmanlike conduct call, the second of the night by Dave Jackson. Ty Domi assessed the same penalty in the second. Mironov, a slap to Brodeur, down rebound. Jamnov shot it wide. Good chance there for the Jets. Numanen to Jamnov. Solani broke his stick. He goes to the bench, so it's a 4-on-4. Numanen shot. Nice save by Brodeur. As Numanen one-timed it, and Brodeur came across. The Devils goalie without a stick. Mironov to Tkachuk, and the net dislodged. Didn't see how that happened.
Ken Danico pulled Brodeur's stick out of the net. Now, there should be an interference penalty when the defenseman does that. Look at this save right here by Martin Brodeur on Numanen. And you could look back at that one, and that would have made it 4-2. The Jets would have been in control. What a save by Brodeur. The Jets' power play has really passed the puck. The last 2 chances they've had, they've moved the puck around well and created some good scoring chances. And you can see Danico talking to Brodeur in trouble in his own zone. Danico yanked the stick, the goal stick, out from underneath the net, pulled it off its mooring. There's Ron Finn. His broken stick over to the penalty box. You talk about the official strike, and all those years Ron Finn has worked for a very minimum wage.
He's hoping to cash in as the officials try and work out a new contract with the NHL. Devils send the puck down the ice. 45 seconds left in this Winnipeg man advantage. We're just nicely underway in the third period. Jets on top, 3-2. Yzerberg. Back to Olesen. Return pass to Yzerberg. Left it for Newman at the point. Dumped it behind the net. Brodeur out to play it. Olesen keeps it in to Steen along the boards. Beats Newman at the point. The slap shot between the two defensemen and went just wide. Newman at the left point again. Nelson Emerson, couple of assists on the night. Newman shot off Stevens. Bounces to the corner, and here's Stepan Richer for New Jersey. Across the line. Had a stick lifted by Emerson. Just put it in deep and heads to the bench. The Devils back at full strength. Bernie Nichols for New Jersey. Zelepukin heads for the net. Pass in his skates. Olesen pushed him off the puck. King is bumped by Claude Lemieux. Lemieux to the backhand. Weak shot. Kicked away by Essensa. Bernie Nichols is 20 points away from 1,000 in his NHL career. Jets ice the puck. Domi in a foot race with Fetisov. Beat him to it. Here's Domi, a backhand in front. With Eagle standing there, and the pass didn't get through. Nice try by Domi. Zelepukin to Nichols. Cuts around Kennedy. Gets the shot away. Essensa down, and it's underneath. The Jets goalie as Essensa makes a big stop. Your Molson Dry telecast.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win $500 in MasterCard Travelers checks from the Bank of Montreal. A set of Ryobi Workforce Power Tools. From Sultan, a selection of gourmet kitchen appliances. Or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Chef Boyardee pasta and E.D. Smith 5 fillings. Score and Win, another reason we're today's better way.
Fitting regular maintenance into my day is tough. So I go to where it'll be done right at the right price. I go to my GM dealer.
Announcing the GM Good Wrench Service Plus Lube Oil and Filter offer. Done in 29 minutes, or the next one's free. With the work done by GM trained technicians who use quality GM parts.
I trust my GM dealer to give me the finest quality work at a very competitive price.
There you are, Miss RJ.
Thanks, that was fast.
GM Good Wrench Service Plus means auto service with a plus.
Talk about character teams, and the good teams have the ability to come back when they trail after two periods. And you look at this, the New Jersey Devils, it's been over 2 seasons, February 91, and in that game it was against the Hartford Whalers. They came back from, they were down 3-1, came back and won that 4-3, but you see the New Jersey Devils, trouble coming back when they trail.
Beetle will face off against Seamac. Beetle an interesting story. Played in Switzerland, Thunder Bay of the Colonial League, and the American Hockey League in New Haven. Last year, a training camp surprise for Winnipeg, number 15. Darren Shannon along the boards. Olesen cut off Seamac. Mironov to Beetle. His pass off Seamac. Slides to Martin Brodeur. Bruce Driver. Niedermeyer. For Bill Guerin, he went to Boston College. Whereas Keith Tkachuk went to Boston University. They bump behind the net. Driver. For Guerin behind the goal. Tversky picks it up. Rolled it in front. 3 Devils trapped, and here's Borsato with Shannon. 2-on-2. Borsato taking his time into the slot. Couldn't get the shot away. Checked at the last second by Niedermeyer. Guerin drops it to Tversky. Driver following up to the backhand. Shot right through the crease. No Devil there. Tversky at the left point. Quintel. Borsato couldn't clear it for Winnipeg, and he's upset at himself. Borsato with a goal and an assist in this one. Beetlynch across to Shannon. He tips it to center. Slapped right back in by John McLean. 5.5 minutes gone, third period. 3-2 Jets. That came around the glass and into the Jets bench off the stick of Newman.
Bob Essensa with some big saves early in this period to keep the Devils off the board, and then a penalty by Claude Lemieux, and the Jets have calmed things down. This is one of those rinks where the benches are deep in the zone. That time the puck around the boards right into the Jets bench, as half the bench is exposed. There goes Darren Shannon, headed to the Jets dressing room. Try and get an update on Shannon, as he's obviously in some pain.
Bob Essensa, finalist for the Vezina Trophy in 1992. The Jets up their goals for last year to 322, but their goals against also went up, and John Paddock feels they have to be in the top 10 in goals against, especially in the Central Division. Here's Fetisov from the point. Couldn't backhand it in front, gets a second chance, and Teppo Numanen was there. Solani one-on-one against Modry. Jamnok into the Devil zone. He's been dangerous tonight, looking for Solani, but McLean has it for New Jersey. Richer held up by Steen. McLean to the line, checked by Numanen. Richer behind the net. Quintel for Winnipeg to Jamnok. McLean doing good work. Richer at the point for Fetisov, delayed offside. There's a lead pass for Solani, and called on the offside as Fetisov puts the grab on Solani.
Solani in behind the defense, and you can see Solani talking to Brad Lazarowicz. A two-line pass. Solani thought that he held up long enough. I thought it was an obvious two-line pass. He doesn't complain too much about it. Heads to the Jets players bench.
Well, Teemu looked well on his way to 76 goals after the home opener when he scored a hat trick against Washington, but hasn't scored since. I asked him before the game, I said, have you set any goals for yourself? That's a pretty good word to use around him.
Yes.
And he said, no, not really. He says, I just hope the puck keeps going in the net. I think with his talent, there shouldn't be much problem there.
Well, John Paddock talks about cutting down goals against, and to do that, they're going to have to play a little more defense, and I'm sure everybody's production will go down slightly. You have to sacrifice something, play a little more team defense.
Blomston to Kennedy near center, and it's called on the two-line offside pass. 13:38 left in the third. Jets up by 1 in Jersey.
The new Camaro. Ladies and gentlemen, let the good times roll.
This is Reimer country. Fast, economical, guaranteed service. Shrinking time and costs to deliver goods across the West, throughout Canada and the United States, right to your door. Reimer Express. Reliable economy. On time or free.
Well, we had one star in the studio tonight. Well, a couple, Jordy Douglas and Don Cherry, and we'll have the Molson 3 stars following the game. Don't miss those, and they'll be picked by my cohort, John Garrett.
And that's why we have the goalie in. I do like to pick the goalies, Bob Essensa, so those saves at the start of this period might be enough for him to be selected one of the Molson 3 stars. Ken Danico brought that puck out over the blue line, and Brad Lazarowicz made the call from the other side. As you look at Danico, the new Iron Man of the NHL. You wonder about Steve Larmer. He's threatened to retire if the Chicago Blackhawks don't do something with him this week.
Some of those big salaries going around, he may change his mind in a hurry.
That's right, and maybe he'll extend the deadline for another week.
Scott Stevens cutting in front of his own goal. Former Capital in blue, Bernie Nichols has had a strong game tonight. Tried to drop it for Zelepukin off the skate of Blomston.
Keith Tkachuk is getting a charging penalty on Claude Lemieux, and Lemieux went off to the player's box, and it was one of those center ice, cross ice hits. And as Grace would say, he got in the trolley tracks, and Tkachuk made him pay. Scott Stevens comes over and has words with Tkachuk. And Claude Lemieux is over in the Devils players box. being attended to, and Keith Tkachuk is headed to the penalty box.
Keith Tkachuk, a real competitor, and he's upset about that one, but I think Stevens might have drawn one too. Yes, he has. Tkachuk yapping at Stevens.
Stevens came in after. Now, will they give Tkachuk 4? I don't think so. Tkachuk was just headed to the penalty box when Scott Stevens came over. And there's the Devils players bench, and in behind John McLean is Claude Lemieux. And Keith Tkachuk is going to get 4.
Keith Tkachuk, 2 minutes for charging and 2 minutes roughing. For the Devils, number 4, Scott Stevens, 2 minutes roughing. The time of the penalty.
So Tkachuk gets charging and roughing. Stevens 2 for roughing, and Chris King will serve the other minor for the Jets.
And you can see Claude Lemieux sitting on the players bench. I don't like to really say this, but I wonder how long before Claude Lemieux's back out there. Now watch on the right side of your screen. Watch Keith Tkachuk right there on Claude Lemieux. Lemieux's being tied up. He's flattened by Tkachuk.
Corey Millen along the boards. New Jersey with a power play, trailing by 1. But Forsato has the puck for Winnipeg. Hooked it back in his own zone. Essensa in a race with Millen. Driver at the left point. Then Niedermeyer. Tipped wide by Richer. Millen had to wait for it to come off the top of the board. John McLean behind the net to Richer. Quintel to the point. Bruce Driver there for New Jersey. Then Niedermeyer. He moves up. Slap shot. Blocked by Mike Eagles. Had the puck underneath him momentarily, and then it's backhanded out by Teppo Numminen. 1:15 left in the New Jersey power play. Bruce Driver slowly to center. Slaps it in. That hit Numminen on the skate. He's okay. Missed 18 games after blocking a shot last year. Richer, top of a loose puck. Centers it. Weak shot. Up down. They score! Niedermeyer.
The Jets get trapped and turn this into a 3-on-1 short-handed. And the shot was fanned on, but Teppo Numminen comes back. Now look at the Jets here. They get trapped 3-on-1. And watch, Teppo Numminen bangs into Bob Essensa right here. Watch Numminen. And the shot's fanned on, but it trickles underneath Numminen and Essensa. It just barely goes in. Nice play by Richer to spot Niedermeyer late. Little backhand pass. Thomas Dean does a good job coming back, doesn't quite get there in time, and it just goes up and over Bob Essensa.
Scott Niedermeyer's first of the season has the Devils back on even terms. I guess the doctor has been called to the Jets dressing room to check out the leg of Darren Shannon, who left in the third. So a 3-3 tie. It's been a common score for the Jets on this road trip. They tied 3-3 in Dallas. We're tied at 3 in Chicago. And that's the count here in New Jersey as we near the halfway mark of the third period. Richer to Corey Millen. In against Mironov. Richer shot from the bad angle. Essensa had a little trouble with it. Now Jamnov gave the puck away. Mironov for Winnipeg. Backhands it out to center. Solani after Fetisov. Millen. And Jamnov came together. Puck back inside the Jet zone. Dean Kennedy. Moves it quickly to Thomas Steen. Nichols to the Winnipeg line. Kennedy was hit by Claude Lemieux. Jamnov back to Mironov in his own zone. Zelepukin after it. The Jets have been giving it away here in the third period. Eisebart trying to split the defense. Couldn't do so. Bernie Nichols for the Devils. To Zelepukin. And Nichols offside on the play.
Claude Lemieux looks to be all right after that hit from Keith Tkachuk. He's out there again. And you can hear on the loudspeaker system, they're calling a doctor down to the Winnipeg dressing room, as you mentioned, Bruce, to look at Shannon's leg. Zelepukin has been one of their leaders, 5 points already this year, coming into tonight's action. And one of the guys that the New Jersey Devils are hoping can hit that 100-point mark.
Devil scoring play, Niedermayer's first from Richer and Driver on the power play at 7:49. 3-3 in the third. Scott Stevens. To Zelepukin at center. Backhands it inside the Jet zone. Kennedy nearly got spun around by Bernie Nichols, both former Kings and Rangers. Danico off the boards into Jets territory. Dean Kennedy to Borsato. Aaron forechecking for New Jersey. Zelepukin in the corner with Blomston. To the point, Danico a backhand, puck loose in front. Nichols trying to find it in his skates. Isabard in to help out. Kicks it to Kennedy behind the net, around for Borsato. He couldn't clear it. Zelepukin for New Jersey, wrist shot off the leg of Kennedy wide. Now Emerson brings it out for Winnipeg and slides it in to New Jersey territory. Shots now even at 25 apiece. Seppo Numminen. And a delayed offside against the Devils. Niedermayer's tied it on the power play in the third for New Jersey.
When others are blowing hot and cold about how beer is made, there is a beer which quietly and consistently delivers on its promise. Nobody delivers great beer taste and no aftertaste like Molson's Special Dry. No beer. It just could be the best beer ever brewed, anytime, anywhere. To some, it was a contradiction. The notion of converting the smallest amount of liquid resources into pure power. Some dabbled with it, approached it, surrounded it, but Honda made it happen. VTEC, high efficiency power. APR from Honda.
The next home action for the Jets Saturday night when the Chicago Blackhawks come to town. For tickets, call 780-SEAT for the Jets and Hawks Saturday. And our next telecast on CKND Friday, October 29th. Wayne Gretzky and the Los Angeles Kings will be in town. That is a 7:30 start. Here in New Jersey, 9:41 left third period. Devils and Jets tied at 3. Seppo Numminen dumps it into New Jersey territory. Niedermayer. For Holik, he was checked by Quintel. Ty Domi put his head down and shot it to the corner. Niedermayer looking for Holik. Quintel there again. Domi for Winnipeg. This line's been fairly effective. Domi working along the boards. Side of the net for Chris King. He was poke checked by Brodeur. Jets haven't had much heat on the New Jersey goalie here in the third. Domi goes down. Mike Peluso to Randy McKay. Ahead to Holik. He's hit by Quintel. They eye one another. Here's Eagles around the boards for Solani. Batisa to Holik. Working against Numminen. Solani banks it off the boards and out he comes for Winnipeg. McLean after him. Solani backhands it into the New Jersey zone. Batisa in the corner for McLean. Back behind the net to Modry. 8:25 left third period in a 3-3 tie. Torrey Millen spilled by Mironov. Nearly lost his helmet on the play. Richer pinned against the boards by Olesen. Shamrock trying to help out. Olesen for Winnipeg off the glass to the point. Fetisov, a nice move on Solani. Now to Richer, quick shot. Essence has stood up to make that save and hangs on as McLean bumped the Winnipeg goalie after the whistle.
You get in that defensive mode, you've got the lead going into the third period, trying to protect it, and you give the other team some momentum by sitting back. And you look at Martin Brodeur, first-round draft choice of the New Jersey Devils. And Stéphane Richer with that last shot. He has one of those funny sticks that it's hard to read the puck as a goaltender because it hooks right at the very end, and he shoots heel to toe. And when it comes off, it usually comes off at a funny angle. Here's a good hit by Boris Mironov on Corey Millen. Good hip check. No penalty call, just good, clean hip check.
Devils win the draw. Stevens shot from the point. Essenson makes the save and pounces on the rebound. Faceoff's key at this juncture in a 3-3 tie. 7:53 to go, third period. Borsato, Emerson, and Tkachuk, the forward line for Winnipeg. Ron Finn says that Emerson moved early, so Borsato's out and Emerson in to take the faceoff. C-Mac set for New Jersey. Wins the draw again. Scott Stevens moves to the middle. Wrist shot this time. Essence down. They score! C-Mac!
Losing faceoffs in your own zone. The Winnipeg Jets lost one, and then they lost two. And it was the second one that goes in. Here's the shot from the point. And watch Bob Essenson through traffic. Makes the original save, and right there it's tipped in and just trickles over the line. Here's the shot from Scott Stevens. Good low shot, and Essenson can't control it. And there's Tom Chorsky on the backhand. Just gets his stick on it and beats Bob Essenson.
It was Chorsky, not C-Mac, that put it in. And it's 4-3 New Jersey.
And there's that encroachment rule. Bruce, you Devils fan.
Only 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. For the Devils, Mike Caruso, 5 minutes fighting, 2 minutes instigating, and a game misconduct.
And it is Peluso getting the instigating penalty. Ty Domi is gone with 7:32 left because he gets a misconduct added on to his 5 minutes for fighting. And you can see Scott Stevens. Scott Stevens is arguing, saying that Ty Domi had his gloves off first, but nobody was going to fight with him until Peluso came flying in. So the Jets have a power play, and their power play has looked pretty good. The last couple of chances they've had control.
Jackson still explaining to Stevens his ruling.
What a hit by Scott Stevens. Center ice, Ty Domi with his head down.
The Devils
up and over.
Second of the season, scored by number 4, Scott Stevens.
They're giving that goal to Scott Stevens. I thought Tom Chorsky tipped it in.
The time of the goal is 12:13.
And if that goal stands up, his 600th NHL point. And what a big point it is right now. But now the Jets have a chance to answer. Solani, Steen, Jamnok, Emerson, and Numanen, their number 1 power play unit on the ice. Emerson slaps it in. Brodeur setting it up behind the net to Richer. He turns and shoots it down the ice.
The advantage of a good puck-handling goaltender, Martin Brodeur, out there to stop that puck around the boards, get it up to Richer and down the ice.
Jamnok lead pass to Steen, looking for Solani, took the shot with Solani streaking in, and Brodeur made the stop. McLean for Richer. Steen knocks it back to Teppo Numanen. Jamnok to center, pass on the right side for Solani. He's bumped by Scott Stevens. Jamnok from the corner. Across to Emerson. Quick shot. Solani couldn't deflect it. Jamnok along the boards to Numanen. Across to Emerson. Good puck control again by the Jets. To Solani along the boards. Steen knocked down in front by Stevens. What a battle going on there. Emerson at the point. To Solani. For Steen, hit Danico's stick. McLean can't gulp it out. Solani will try it again for Winnipeg. Forced to the corner. Couldn't center it again against Danico, who wraps it around the boards. Newman in right point. Stevens is there for New Jersey. And he sends the puck down the ice with 33 seconds to go in the Winnipeg power play.
Good perimeter play by the Jets, but the Devils doing a good job inside, not letting any of the shots get through.
Olison's pass off the back of Tkachuk's skate. Borsato stopped at the line by Driver. Mironov to Yzerbark. Borsato goes for the net. Here's Olison. Mironov, one-timer, pad save. Rebound is loose and pounced on by Martin Brodeur.
Mironov with the shot, but nobody in front of Martin Brodeur, and now time becomes an enemy. 5:42 left here in the third period. Only 10 seconds left in the penalty to Mike Peluso. Here's a shot from Mironov. Now look at the lane. Brodeur, nobody in front of him, lots of room. Down he goes to make the save.
Borsato, Yzerbark, Tkachuk, Olison, and Mironov to the right of Brodeur. 5:42 left third period. 10 seconds in the penalty. They'll drop it again. Nichols won the faceoff from Tkachuk. Driver to John McLean. He's had a lot of ice time tonight and shoots the puck down the ice, and the Jets 0 for 5 on the power play tonight. Freddie Olison shooting it in. Tkachuk stopping in the corner. Here's Mironov's shot. That's steered aside by Brodeur. Olison left point to Yzerbark. Tkachuk behind the net. And the puck ends up on the mesh, causing a stoppage in play. You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Regular maintenance into my day is tough. So I go to where it'll be done right at the right price. I go to my GM dealer.
Announcing the GM Goodwrench Surface Plus Lube Oil and Filter offer. Done in 29 minutes, or the next one's free. With the work done by GM trained technicians who use quality GM parts.
I trust my GM dealer to give me the finest quality work at a very competitive price.
There you are, Miss RJ.
Thanks, that was fast.
GM Goodwrench Service Plus means auto service with a plus.
Chris Buchanan with John Garrett, Joe Pascucci, and Jordy Douglas. We're at the Meadowlands Brendan Byrne Arena, where the Devils lead the Jets 4-3, 5:12 remaining third period.
And the Devils team has really played well here in the third period. We talked about Jacques Lemaire and Larry Robinson and the kind of character guys they are, the kind of control they have over this game, and they really fired them up between the second and third.
Newman shoots it in. Niedermeyer there to clear it for the Devils. Stefan Quintel at his own line for Winnipeg. To Steen. Here's Teemu Solani. Stops at the edge of the circle. Was waiting for Jamnov. McLean on the ice again for New Jersey. Bruce Driver. Straight up the ice to center. His pass was knocked down by Quintel. Richer in the corner. Checked by Steen. Jamnov for Winnipeg. McLean staying with Solani. Newman and off to Jamnov, and the Jets are offside.
There's Jacques Lemaire, and you can see him. Quick line changes here, and the come from behind New Jersey Devils. They were down coming into the third period. They really came out, Bruce, in the first couple of shifts. I think they set the tone for the third period. good pressure. And look at Jacques Lemaire. He's down, and he's making sure he's got the attention of the players. It's not one of those just yelling at them from behind. He's making sure a little eye contact and that they're listening to him.
Lemaire is the 6th coach the Devils have had since the last time they beat the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg's had great success against New Jersey, but they need a goal in the last 4:22 to continue that success tonight.
And you name those 6. You could probably name a few of them.
Name a few of them, maybe not all 6.
You look at John Paddock, and his team played well in Chicago, ended up losing that one. They played well here tonight. They had a good first 2 periods, good solid road first 2 periods, and then here in the third, it's been New Jersey Devils, just too much pressure.
Holik from the corner, as Essensa couldn't trap it behind the net. Scores!
And this starts when Bob Essensa misses the puck around the boards. The rink you don't play in much. Now watch the wraparound. Look at Boris Mirnov right there. It's off Mirnov and through Bob Essensa. And as a defenseman, you have to get over there as quickly as you can and try and get an angle. Look at Mirnov. He's still in front. It goes off his feet and in behind Essensa.
Bobby Holik, his 2nd goal of the year. And it gives the Devils a little breathing room. They're up by 2 with 4 minutes to go. In the third period, Paul Yzerberg across to Blomston. Rink wide for Mike Eagles. Chris King tried to get it to the front of the net. Scott Stevens blocked that. Lemieux to Zelepukin. Goes down against Dean Kennedy.
And Claude Lemieux drew a penalty on Chris King. Chris King coming back with Lemieux, had the hand on him, and Lemieux went down, drew the penalty. A roughing penalty. And Claude Lemieux has been effective in that role. He's been under their skin. He's had a lot of attention, and when he's playing well, that's what he does.
Number 17, Chris King, has been 16-22.
Chris King takes the roughing penalty, and the Jets have to kill off another penalty. That power play goal by Scott Stevens was a real killer, and now another power play for the Devils.
Goals by the Devils here in the third haven't been pretty, but they have been going to the net, and they've got 3 of them. Lead at 5-3 and look to be in pretty good shape now with Chris King sitting out a roughing minor. Frustrating early part of the season for the Jets, who, as John mentioned, played pretty well in Chicago, lost with 10 seconds to go, and had the lead here in Jersey tonight, but have given up 3 goals in the third. Tkachuk gave Driver an elbow. There's a lead pass for Emerson. Niedermeyer loses the puck to Emerson, comes in front, shoots, scores! Nelson Emerson.
As you said, Bruce, they look in pretty good shape, but not anymore, as now the Jets are right back in it. Watch this play, Niedermeyer. He gives up. He thinks Emerson's going to cut in front of the net. Well, Emerson goes right at him, pulls it out, and look at this move. Quick hands up and over Martin Brodeur. Look at this snapshot. Look at Brodeur. He's down well before Emerson shoots, but that's a sign of a good goal scorer. He doesn't just shoot it at the goaltender, picked his spot, got it up and over the goaltender.
Emerson's 2nd goal of the season, a 3-point night for number 19 of the Jets. And they are within 1 huge shorthanded goal by Nelson Emerson. It's 5-4 now. And we're in for an interesting last 3 minutes. Zelepukin to Niedermeyer to Bruce Driver. Nelson Emerson scored 2 shorthanded goals last season for St. Louis. The Jets only had 3 in total all of last year. They've already got 2 this season. Lemieux lost it at the side of the net. Here's Steen to Jamnov. Gets around Bruce Driver. Jamnov cutting for the net. Tried to set up Steen, but Niedermeyer blocked the pass as the Jets nearly had another shorthanded chance. Zelepukin down the right wing for New Jersey. Quintel Got around Bernie Nichols, and out come the Jets, 3-on-2. Jamnok. Check by Niedermeyer. 49 seconds left in the minor penalty to Chris King. Zelepukin into the corner for Bernie Nichols. Newman failed to slap it out, then he's bumped by Zelepukin. Fetisov in from the point. Zelepukin from the corner looks around. Bernie Nichols to Fetisov at the point. Back to Nichols. He's watched by Newman. 23 seconds left in the penalty. Scott Stevens slap shot off the skate of Newman. Nichols forced to the point by Newman. Now he moves up. Claude Lemieux from the corner. In front, Nichols scores!
Here's the power play. Nice little give and go. Bernie Nichols, power play specialist. Watch this pass. Lemieux to Nichols, a quick snapshot. And it goes through. Bob Essens has had a couple of funny ones here in the third period. And again, watch this shot by Nichols. Not how hard, but quick. Rolling puck, and it just goes through Bob Essens and finds the back of the net.
Nichols' second goal of the season. He's had a strong game tonight for New Jersey. And they restore their 2-goal lead.
The Devils' goal, a power play goal, is second of the season, scored by number 9, Bernie Nichols.
Their second power play goal of the night. And the penalty was almost over to Chris King. Zemak out with Guerin, 2-on-1. Mironov back for Winnipeg. Guerin shoots. Hit Essence a high, but he made the stop. Frederick Olesen. 1:20 left. Here's Emerson back the other way for Winnipeg. Emerson waits in front for Tkachuk. And a good defensive play by Scott Stevens. Olesen from the point. Tkachuk into the corner. Stevens pokes it ahead to Zemak. Essence goes to the bench as the Devils gain possession. Zemak checked by Steen at center. Tkachuk in for Steen. And we have a whistle on the play. I think the Jets had too many men on the ice. Well, Nelson Emerson scored that shorthanded goal, and also scoring is Mrs. S. Hardesty of Winnipeg by including a Maxwell House Coffee proof of purchase and entering Score and Win at Safeway. Mrs. Hardesty has won a General Electric Spacemaker 2 microwave.
And I don't think the Jets are going to get called here, as Ron Finn now is going over to talk to Larry Robinson. Face off outside the blue line. Timeout called by the Winnipeg Jets now. And Ron Finn is going over to talk to the Jets bench. He made the call. He thought there was too many men on the ice, but there was 2 guys standing right at the door. Bernie Nichols has feasted, and one of his career output, he's very close to 1,000 points. Watch this. Fakes the shot, and then goes to the front of the net, gets in a position to shoot. Look at his feet. Facing the pass, facing the net, and you see the rolling puck that snapped through Bob Essens. And up goes the arms, and how many times have you seen Bernie Nichols do that? 72 was it 1 year, or 76 goals when he was with Los Angeles?
70.
70. Well, I was in the right.
Yeah.
All the personal problems Bernie Nichols had over the past season and a half, and still able to perform and keep his focus when he laces the blades up and goes on the ice.
He still holds the Kings record for goals in a season. And with guys like Luc Robitaille and Wayne Gretzky around, that's something to be very proud of. Exactly 1 minute to go, third period. Devils 6 and the Jets 4. Jets had a 3-2 lead starting this third period. McLean couldn't golf it out. Richer does to Corey Millen. Jets net is empty. Millen, a nice move, scores! And that will ice it for the Devils.
Corey Millen now with goals in his last 3 games. Out there in a defensive role, he changed sticks. He broke his stick on the faceoff. went over the bench, grabbed one, ends up getting a goal with it. Talked about practice time for the Winnipeg Jets, and after training camp, when you head out on the road like the Jets did, it's hard to get any practice time, and I'm sure John Paddock would like to get, especially a defensive system in place and get the guys to work on it here in the third period. It's been run around in your own zone for the Winnipeg Jets.
Now their defensive system looked pretty good in the first two periods, but a bad third again for the Jets.
Reaching at Niedermeyer at 19-14.
Dean Kennedy. 7 different goal scorers tonight for the New Jersey Devils. Blomston. Long shot handled by Brodeur. Driver to Richer. He dumps it out. We're down to 10 seconds with Essen back in the net. Mike Eagle for McLean, and the Devils offside. 4.1 seconds left to go.
And the last 4 shots that the Devils have fired at the Winnipeg Jet net have gone in. And they have really played well here in the third period, and the Jets, trying to protect the lead, sat back a little bit, gave them a little life. I thought after that Lemieux penalty that the Jets had calmed things down, but the Devils just kept on coming and were able to get it going and get some momentum going. And a lot of people picked this New Jersey team to finish out of the playoffs with the new divisional matchups. Even if they finished 4th, they thought they might not make the playoffs. But boy, they look pretty good here tonight, and I think with the new coach, Jacques Lemaire, and Larry Robinson, the new coaches, this Devils team looks like they will be a force to contend with in the Atlantic Division.
Well, the Devils have tied a franchise record with 4 consecutive wins at the start of a season. The Devils with a strong third period, scoring 5 goals. They win it 7-4 over the Winnipeg Jets. In a moment, the Molson 3-star selection.
Happy anniversary, Park Pontiac. The 94s are here.
That means all 93 cars and trucks have got to go. Take advantage of GM's past model allowance on all 93s. Hey, who's going to give you the most competitive price? A dealer with a few vehicles or Park Pontiac with true extra savings on the largest selection of Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks in all of Manitoba.
You got it, Park Pontiac.
You got it, Park Pontiac.
Attention, hockey pool players. Tired of wasting time sifting through stats and writing out reports? Well, relax, because what used to take hours now takes seconds. The Hockey Commissioner's Office is a revolutionary new computer program that gives you NHL player stats immediately, drafts and trades in a snap, and customized reports automatically. So get off the bench and into the game. Order your copy of the Hockey Commissioner's Office for only $49.95.
To order, dial 1-800-461-0572 and ask for operator number 22.
Time now for the Molson Cup. 3 stars tonight. Star number 3 from New Jersey, Bernie Nickel. The second star, shorthanded goal, Nelson Emerson from the Winnipeg Jets. And the first star of tonight's game, big game on the blue line, Scott Stevens with a goal in that third period for New Jersey. And there you see the overall Molson Cup stars or standings right now. Teemu Selanne with 5 points, Stefan Beauregard with 5, and Alexei Zhamnov also with 5. Our Molson Dry telecast will continue in a moment.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win Macassa's Elegant Maxima Dinnerware from the Belterre pattern, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, the Best of Tefal featuring the new Cool Wall Deep Fryer, or the Piggyback from Samsonite. Our strengths are legendary. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for 2 to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Kleenex facial tissue, and Mitchum deodorants. Score and Win, another reason we're today's better way.
This is Reimer Country. Fast, economical, guaranteed service. Shrinking time and costs to deliver goods across the West, throughout Canada and the United States, right to your door. Reimer Express. Reliable economy. On time or free.
Sitting out here with another grown-up, eating dinner, talking, no kids bothering us. This is the most fun I've had in months.
Yeah, me too. It's too bad we have to trash our exes to have something to talk about, though.
Grace Under Fire. Wednesday at 8:30 on CKND.
Double or nothing?
Easy money.
Okay, she once bought a car because it matched her purse.
My ex was arrested for relieving himself on a police dog.
Grace Under Fire.
Well, here was your game winner, Bobby Halik, on the wraparound. The puck going in off the skate of Boris Mironov, and the New Jersey Devils with 5 goals in that third period defeat the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 7-4. And Jordy Douglas not away for the road trip to end for the Winnipeg Jets. 2 losses and a tie. Does this road trip answer some questions for John Paddock, or does it give him more questions?
Well, I would think it would give him a few more questions. Everybody knows they want to play better than 500 on the road. Obviously, this wasn't a stellar performance for them. On the other side of the coin, it's early in the season. They've got some extra bodies around, and they're putting them in, if you watch, they're putting them in different situations to see more so what they can do or can't do. And I think you'll see a little bit different lineup on against Chicago here on the weekend. And then you'll see maybe some changes offensively. I think in the third period, they really became defensive, which is a good road game, except, it didn't get them involved in the game till New Jersey started scoring goals. So that didn't help them at all that way either.
Noticed in tonight's game where Paul Eisenbart, who's really been struggling, was dropped from the second line, and Luciano Borsato, who's had a great start this season, was moved up to play along with Emerson and Tkachuk.
Yeah, you got to look at that and you wonder, but you look at Luciano Borsato, he's so versatile. He can play anywhere. I really have a lot of admiration for him because he's the type of player that can play anywhere up front. I don't know if it's so much that they wanted to drop him back, Eisenbart back, to see in a different situation. I think they know what Borsato can do. They want to get a second line a little bit more offensive. And then you're seeing Eisenbart trying to fit in, just trying to get him in a spot in this lineup. Some guys don't become comfortable in a trade, and maybe he's just taking a little bit more time.
All right. Jordy Douglas, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Special thanks to wife Christine for letting Jordy here on their second wedding anniversary. Let's update the Central Division standings. You see the Winnipeg Jets staying where they are with 3 points, now 2 losses. Chicago and Dallas are playing right at this point. Scott Stevens credited with the goal. It may change later because it looks like Tom Chorsky coming through here actually gets a stick on it and pushes it through. But it might have been Scott Stevens' goal. We won't know for sure. But we know for sure we're coming back with the MTS NHL scoreboard.
Those writers make a lot of money.
And let me tell you something about show business. It's hard work.
Okay, can I just watch the show?
Winner of the 1993 Emmy Award for Best Comedy Series, Seinfeld, Thursdays at 8 on CKND.
What did you say?
You know who's got it, don't you?
You want true extra savings? Take advantage of GM's past model allowance on all 93 cars and trucks. Hey, who's going to give you the most competitive price on a 93? A dealer with a few vehicles or Park Pontiac, with the largest selection of Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks in all of Manitoba.
You got it, Park Pontiac.
You want it? Well, you got it at Park Pontiac.
Cheese, please.
Isn't it nice to have a taste for life?
Canadian cheese, please.
This is pathetic.
Polly, wait.
What are you doing here?
You don't move. You're under arrest.
That is to convince you that there is absolutely nothing you can say to me at this moment that will reduce my anger by the tiniest fraction. You get out, or I'll shoot.
You will not.
Oh, yes, I will.
First of all, your finger's not even on the trigger.
Some partnerships have a rocky beginning. Moon over Miami, Wednesday at 9 on CKND.
Promotional consideration provided by Optex Binoculars. Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
The New Jersey Devils winning at home over the Winnipeg Jets 7-4. The Devils' first win against the Jets at the Brendan Byrne Arena since 1986. Taking a look at the three-period summary. Thomas Steen opening the scoring for the Jets, his second of the season at 8:07. Then Luciano Borsato at 10:17. Assists Tkachuk and Emerson. But the Devils rebounded after that. John McLean with his first, and then Lemieux with his third, 2-2 after one period. In the second period, just one goal, that by Keith Tkachuk, just going to Borsato and Emerson. The Jets taking a 3-2 lead into the final period. In the third, the Devils tie it and take the lead on goals by Niedermeyer and Stevens. Then Bobby Halik scores his second of the season, the puck going in off the skate of Mironov. Nelson Emerson, short-handed, gets the Jets back in it, but then Nichols on the power play and Millen into the empty net. That is your final score tonight. New Jersey over Winnipeg 7-4. We started off the show telling you about how the Jets have been blowing leads this season. Well, another example today. First period 2-0, and the Jets can't hold on to it. Third period going in with a 3-2 lead. Again, the Jets cannot hold on to a lead so far early in the season. And yes, it is only 4 games, but it's a continuing theme so far in those 4 games. Let's take a look at the MTS out-of-town scoreboard. MTS opening new lines of communication. Buffalo and Philadelphia. The Flyers, trailing 3-1, have come back. They are leading, or have won 5-3. Renberg, Recchi, Beranek, and Lindros, Swoboda Wood, and Howardchuk scoring for the Sabres. Pittsburgh and Florida. In the third period, the Penguins out in front, 2-1. Straka with his 6th goal of the season. Mellanby has the goal for the Panthers in their home opener. Chicago and Dallas, Marchment, the ex-Jet, and Noonan have scored for the Blackhawks. Sonority has the goal for the Stars. And just getting underway, the Islanders were playing their 4th straight road game, taking on the Los Angeles Kings, who opened up with a loss at home but have been winning ever since. There's the final score once again. The Devils over the Jets 7-4. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by MTS, opening new line of communication. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
My life isn't about throwing money around. It's about hanging on to it. It's not about owning a $40,000 car. It's about owning a good car. It's not how much something costs that matters to me. It's how well it works. Look, don't tell me what I want. Show me you've got what I need.
You know, when you think about it, we've done more laundry, cleaned more dishes, we've washed more cars, scrubbed more floors, babied more faces. And there's very little doubt that we've done more deliveries than anyone else, too. Well, almost. We're citywide water heater service, and with no extra charge for weekend or evening service, we keep Winnipeg in hot water.
One thing's for sure, the new cats move awfully fast. See your dealer now before the fall deals are gone.
There's nothing to it. Making rice taste great is such a snap with Lipton rice and sauce. Irresistible Lipton flavors, like my favorite, Harvest Chicken. And the sauce simmers right in for tasty, perfect rice, always. Ready in 10 minutes. So make dinner a sensation with Lipton rice and sauce and make it snappy.
Lipton rice and sauce. So right beside everything.
Tonight, Safeway Score and Win grand prize winner will receive a trip for 2 to Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World Resort. Feel the chills and thrills of the all-new Splash Mountain. Party at Pleasure Island, where every night is New Year's Eve. See Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Enjoy 99 holes of golf and all the other excitement of Walt Disney World Resort. Courtesy of Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. Tonight's winner is Muriel Hotel of Winnipeg. Enter, score, and win at Safeway and watch the Jets on CKND.
Well, the Jets won some of the battles, but not the big one. The New Jersey Devils defeating the Jets by a score of 7-4. The Jets with only one